Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 32nd TWitWoW monthly Q&A. Of course, on today's Q&A, we will be answering all of the questions that you have asked since the end of our last Q&A. And even though most of them did happen to be in February, because our last Q&A was literally January 31st, we still have a few January 31st questions to answer as well. So, John, we ended up with a grand total of 46 questions this month, which still, we're landing right in that sweet spot. I always say I want us to be between 45 and 65, and we're nailing it. You guys are doing a great job. You're asking all crazy, interesting questions. John, tell me what you think about our questions this month, my dude.
Brother, I am excited for them. I perused quite a bit of them, on the Discord and YouTube, and of course my pinned tweet. Even though because of the new Patreon ruling, what's crazy is, guys, I don't get as many replies on my pinned tweet as I used to. You guys are really committed to getting as many questions as possible, which again is a win-win-win-win situation, and I thank you for it. And yet still, like Ashton said, despite that new ruling, it's been around for a couple months now, we've really been hitting that sweet spot. So I'm really excited to do this Q&A and let you guys peer into our psyches for the next 2 hours, pretty much. So let's do it.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's start things off with the first person to get their questions in. Cliff them all. He literally, I'm telling you straight up, dude, he on January 31st at 9 p.m., literally as soon as we finished, he threw his questions out there on the Discord immediately.
All right. Well, let's get to him. What was his first question?
First one, order these divisions from best to worst. And he gave us 4 options. Option A, TNA's X Division 02 to 06.
Okay.
Option B, WCW's Cruiserweight Division 95 to 98. Option
okay.
B, New Japan's Junior Division 2015 to current. And option D, NXT's Tag Team Division 2015 to 2017.
Now, this was ranking it from worst to best, you said, or best to worst?
Best to worst.
Best to worst. Because I did, like I said, I did peruse these questions, so I was able to chew on this. I came up with the order of D, C, A, and B. So I was D, C, A, B for this ordering here.
Interesting. I would, you have C in second place. I think I would put that in third or fourth place. I'd probably put it in fourth place, man.
Yeah, I totally
think I would order it. I think I would order it D-A-B-C.
D-A-B-C, huh? Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Because D, we agree that D is the best, because that's like Revival, American Alpha, DIY. That's like peak amazing tag team wrestling shit that we're probably never going to see again, that we never saw before that, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I would put TNA's X Division just below that from 02 to 06, though, because we're talking about like AJ Styles and Samoa. This might have even been before Joe showed up, but it was like Styles, and there was a point where Punk showed up, and like it was and Daniels, and even like Kazarian at that point, and Michael Shane and Sanjay Dutt and Chris Sabin. Like that is probably bias on my part, because that really was my formative years watching, like work rate style wrestling.
Yeah,
I would put that up there. And then WCW's Cruiserweight Division, I'm really not even sure I want to put that below TNA's X Division, because that we're talking about Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Jericho. Like this is 95 to 98. Even like we've even seen shows in that range that had like Nagata on them and shit. So yeah, like the X Division, the more I really dwell on it, I think I'm going to put the X Division third. WCW's Cruiserweight Division 95 to 98 is going to be second for me. So DBAC. And then Japan's Junior Division, it's really good, and I wouldn't deny that, but if we're including everything from 2015 to now, that's like 80% Kushida shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Ugh, Kushida. I'm so glad he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate the thought behind your ranking. Let's get to Cliff's next question.
All right. Question number 2. Which heel run was/is better from a character performance standpoint? The Straight Edge Society CM Punk or the new Daniel Bryan?
Now, this might be recency bias, but I think the new Daniel Bryan, and my reason for it was because his promos are more topical, and he gets booed for rallying against things like wealth inequality, which should be a universal struggle that we're like all on the same side of. and yet he's able to get heat for it. Like, when you're able to get booed for going after a billionaire that really couldn't give two shits whether you like him or not, that's an impressive heel. So I got to go the new Daniel Bryan all day, every day.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think because of the way he worded the question, because he's talking strictly from a character performance standpoint, I would go with Bryan. But if we're going like what was like just like better as far as sports entertainment goes, I would say Punk, because like Bryan is really convincing and his promos are all incredible and his in-ring work is even better. And like, he just hits on all those notes. But to me, CM Punk's work in the Straight Edge Society was so much more than just being really good at what he does. It was also like, they allowed him to get really creative with it, as far as like he converted Gallows, and they used that as an opportunity to explain that the reason that as Festus he was always like really dopey until the bell rung was because of drugs. And they like had him bring in Joey Mercury, and they brought in Serena from the crowd, and even though it never went anywhere, that whole angle was just amazing. Plus, I know that this wasn't technically Straight Edge Society, it was Nexus. But CM Punk cutting a promo in the Elimination Chamber and then in the middle of the Royal Rumble, I think I got those out of order, but like both of those were incredible moments that Bryan hasn't quite touched yet. And I want him to, and I thought he had an opportunity to, at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, but they just aren't going as far with Bryan as they did with Punk back then, and I wish they would.
Yeah, I could totally understand that reasoning, man. So with that said, what is Cliff's next question?
Third question from Cliff. Please do a Mount Rushmore with the 4 people that you think fucked up the U.S. the hardest.
4 people. Oh, man. Okay. Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, that's a consensus. We're both going to have Reagan on ours.
I have both Bushes on there. And then honestly, for a more classical president, the one that keeps coming back that I keep hearing from scholars and stuff that was pretty awful, I see Andrew Jackson's name a lot as a guy that really wasn't good with his hand in like slavery and with banking and stuff like that. I heard that was also a big thing that he had a hand in. So I guess I'd put Andrew Jackson there as well. And that would be my 4 presidents. What about you, brother?
So you went all in with like last 30 years kind of shit with the 2 Bush brothers, or the Bush father and son.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, Reagan is a big one. I'm also going to say Woodrow Wilson, because Woodrow Wilson was president when the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 passed, and that like literally fucked up the entire economy forever, because that took us off the gold standard and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a big one. Let's see. I'm trying to decide which Bush was worse. And was it HW? I'm trying to remember, or not remember because I wasn't alive, but I'm trying to see if I can recall the facts that I've read up on. Was it HW that kind of really started everything with like the Middle East and bin Laden and whoever the hell?
That was HW. Yeah, that's why I put him on the list. Because
okay, then he's going to be on my list as well. So it's going to, okay, so that's going to be my 4 then. It's going to be Reagan. Actually, we'll go chronologically. Woodrow Wilson, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and Donald fucking Trump.
Sounds great to me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Trump pulled out of the Paris Agreement. Trump has been appointing, like going out of his fucking way to appoint conservative judges. Like that's the only thing he's actually getting done, is just going out of his way to appoint conservative ass judges that are going to do everything they can to overturn Roe v. Wade. And of course, Kavanaugh was he was literally chosen by Trump because he doesn't believe that a president should be allowed to be indicted. Like, Trump has fucked so much up about this country, and he's like constantly talking shit about the media. Like, he's going out of his way to ruin the country's trust in the media. So Trump is still like better to me, even though George W. Bush seriously did some fucked up things. The fucked up things that he did could have easily been reversed by Obama if he wanted to. He just didn't care.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But what the shit that Trump is doing is shit that takes 10 seconds that takes years to recover from.
Well, it's funny you even say that because I even saw, like, when Trump reopened the government, which let's hope he doesn't shut it down again, the IRS said even being closed for that little over a month, it's going to take them a year to recover from that shutdown, even for what was seemingly a small period of time. You can't do that shit. It ruins everything on a national level. So just to substantiate what you just said with an actual example, there you go.
And that was the thing too, is that was basically a glorified temper tantrum. Like that was literally Trump just being like, if I can't have my way, then you're going to lose a lot of money, mister.
Exactly.
That's all that was. So yeah, fuck Trump and fuck George H.W. Bush and fuck Ronald Reagan. And of course, fuck Woodrow Wilson for literally planting the seed that fucked the economy in the first place. So yeah, all four of them can go fuck themselves.
I really like both of our Mount Rushmores, so let's move on to Cliff's next question.
Fourth question from Cliff. We're doing another scenario question, so fuck you. And I'm literally quoting because he did like caps and like camel case, basically. Which scenario would you tolerate the most? A, Taguchi wins the IWGP World Championship off Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. B, Johnny Mundo drops the Impact World title to a returning Alberto El Patron in 2 minutes. C, Nia Jax goes back down to NXT, beats Shayna, Io, Bianca, and Kairi in a 5-way for the NXT Women's Championship. Or D, every Patreon request you ever get is Heroes of Wrestling, and you get 20 of them per month. You can't use drugs or get drunk, and no one watches the videos.
I chose B out of those options. So I'll just take Johnny Mundo dropping the world title in 2 minutes. So
I'm gonna look at something real quick. I'm gonna go back and see how our Heroes of Wrestling video did.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I just want to emphasize I choose Mundo dropping the title in 2 minutes to Patron. I chose B for that because it's one world title, it's one match. The other stuff just seems far more soul scarring.
Okay, so just to be clear here, Heroes of Wrestling costs $26 for Sal to request.
Okay.
He's saying we're getting 20 of those a month.
So that amounts to $400,
$520 a month. I'm taking that all day, every day. I don't give a shit if my life is constant torture.
It's like, I can use all this bank to pay for therapy, baby.
Exactly. $520 a month to watch mediocre, terrible, garbage wrestling that I get to schedule to happen when I want. Fuck yeah, I'm doing that.
Hell yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, whatever. You got it, bud.
Beautiful.
That's the one that I would tolerate, quote unquote, tolerate the most. Like, oh God, please don't give me $520 a month to watch wrestling. Gosh.
Yeah, please don't.
And question 5 from Cliff. How was your day today?
My day was actually great today. Better day than I've had in a while. So thank you very much for asking. What about you, partner? How's your day been today?
I've had a really nice day today too. You know, I woke up earlier than I expected to, which is always just wonderful. I love, how ironic is that? I used to fucking hate waking up early, and I still don't wake up early because I stay up so late, but I love waking up earlier than I expected to. And the really wonderful thing is, not only did I wake up before I expected to, but the reason that I did that is because I got to bed way earlier than I expected to, and I managed to get 9 hours of sleep. Holy shit.
And I just love sleep in general, so it's been a good day for both of us.
See, now in general, I'm the opposite. I fucking hate sleeping because when you're sleeping, you're not getting more important shit done.
Yeah.
But I've been so behind on my sleep lately. Like, I probably average 6 hours of sleep a night. So the managed to whip out 9 last night had me all kinds of happy when I woke up today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a really good day today because, like I said, I woke up a little earlier than I expected. And I woke up to NFL Combine measurements hitting the public's eye, so I was able to record some of that. Got my spreadsheets all updated and shit. Excited because one of my favorite prospects had amazing measurements and looks like an absolute beast. And then I went and got some waters because we were getting low on waters at the grocery store. And then I went to Burger King and I got their spicy nuggets, which are really, really good. And then, yeah, we came home and that was like 6:45 by the time we got home. So I haven't really had much time to do anything else since then.
All right. Well, yeah. Is that Cliff's? That was Cliff's last question, right?
Yes, that was Cliff's last. And thank you so much, Cliff, for really thinking of us with your question, man. That's appreciated. We don't.
I feel so valued.
Yeah, it's so sweet. Next set of questions are from Hypothesis. First up, do you think that Mustafa Ali's push has anything to do with the WWE trying to expand into the Middle East / India?
I mean, that's always possible, but I would like to think it's because of the buzz he generated on 205 Live and SmackDown Live wanting to experiment with a new star. What do you think, Ashton?
Yeah, I mean, it could also, it really, I would love to see the timeline where he never got injured, because the rumor was that he was set to get the push that Kofi got. And if Kofi would have gotten the push Kofi got, I wonder if we would have gotten as much fan outcry over Mustafa as we've gotten over Kofi.
Yeah, that'll always be a question. I mean, I'm honestly inclined to say no to a degree, but who knows? Maybe we'd be having the hashtag Mustafa Mania rather than Kofi Mania right now. You never know.
Yeah, we'll never know. But just like we'll never know how Rusev's world title reign would have been because he got injured and fucking Jinder got his push.
Exactly. God damn it,
man. But I do kind of wonder if there are any political, ulterior motives that are politically related to it, because maybe it's also got a little something to do with the Saudi Arabia thing. Maybe it's got to do with, like the whole Jinder Mahal thing was their big thing to try and break into the Indian market. Obviously it failed, but I don't know. And I don't think we ever will know, because if it's true, the WWE would never fucking admit it. So,
all right, next question from Hypothesis.
What do you think will main event Ultima Lucha Cinco?
God, this is a depressing question, because I personally think there won't be a main event because LU is dead in the water right now. I'd love to be proven wrong, but being optimistic and putting a main event out there, I would like to think the main event would be The Lord versus Pentagon Dark. That would be my main event for Ultima Lucha Cinco. Oh, wow. What about you, Ashton?
So, I would guess it would be like Jake Strong versus like El Dragon Azteca Jr. or something.
Interesting. All right, next question from Hypothesis.
All right, next question, final question. I'm gonna actually pull this one up because it is a little bit of a longer one, and I had to summarize it in my notes because of how long it was, and I want to get it right. Here we go. A man and his son were in a horrific car accident. At the hospital, the surgeon set to operate on the child says, "I can't operate on him. He's my son." Who is the surgeon?
The father? I've never really.
The father was injured. The father was in the accident with the son.
I don't know.
Really don't know, dude. It's the mother. Come on. At no point did he explicitly say that the surgeon was male. It's clearly the mother.
Yeah, I guess also I kind of overthought that the beginning of the riddle was like a man, and it's not like it didn't say. So I didn't know if it was trying to swerve me somehow. I always overthink riddles like these.
Well, how would it be his son if he wasn't the father?
I mean, dude, I don't fucking know. I'm never really good at riddles like these, so. You got me, Hypothesis. He'll have a laugh about this when he comes back and he listens to this. So what's our next set of questions?
I'm sure he'll be like, oh my God, John's not as progressive as he thought. He's still not okay with women being surgeons.
Oh God, that is the perfect response. Next.
All right, we've got 5 from Brandon Best. First up, what is the Krabby Patty secret formula made of?
Grounded swordfish, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, ketchup, mustard, pickles, and garlic for that kick of flavor.
You killed me with the grounded swordfish thing.
Well, you got an answer for that?
I don't fucking know. I haven't watched SpongeBob since I was like 13 years old, and that's like a long time ago. It's like 15 fucking years ago. And let me put it this way. More time has passed since the last time I watched an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants than passed between me being born and watching that exact same episode.
Oh, wow. All right, next question.
Okay. Second question from Be Best. Can you? Oh, John. John, this is for you. Can you cut a love letter type promo for Rhea Ripley?
I would be honored to.
Oh my God.
Rhea, your mean-spiritedness is the stuff of legend, and just your cruelty and your viciousness is absolutely incomparable. The only thing more stunning than your elegance in the midst of your brutality is just the pain on your opponent's faces when they realize who exactly they're in the ring with. And the moment I saw you shatter the knee of Tegan Fox, I knew you would always and
Wait, did you
forever
mean
be.
that, or did you just misspeak there?
Did I mean what?
Tegan Fox?
I said Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox. And I was getting ready to say something with Fox, but now you kind of throw me off here. So she destroyed the knee of Tegan Knox, and I knew then, always and forever, that you were just the most amazing heel woman I've ever seen in my life. And I love you forever, Rhea Ripley, and I personally hope you injure Tegan Knox again, just so that we can have a honeymoon all over again. All right, that's my love letter style promo to Rhea, who, I mean, it will always and forever be her brutality. So, next question from Brandon.
Yeah, it looks like we only got 4 from Brandon this month, but here's the third one. This one's also for you, John. Is it safe to assume you are pro-anarchism? I just wanted to confirm.
Yes, absolutely, 1,000%. I'm an anarcho-communist. Yes.
Yeah. And the anarcho of that is, you know.
Anarchist, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Fourth and final question from Brandon. If wrestling styles were food, what would each style represent?
Okay. Lucha Libre would embody foods rich with spice and flavor. Strong style would be those hearty meats like steak. Technical wrestling would be like French cuisine and any style of dish that emphasizes presentation and technique. So that was really all I gave there. I don't really have any other styles listed, to be honest. So.
You need to stop writing your answers down before we go live.
Hey, listen, man, I need to be prepared for these. Otherwise, it's going to be hemming and hawing for 15 minutes, okay? I like to give substantive answers for our audience. This is what they wait for. So.
Well, yeah, but you write your answers down before we go live, and then you give your answers succinctly, and I'm the one hemming and hawing, and I look like the asshole.
Well, we gotta both prepare them, and rather than me stopping, maybe you should start. Maybe we.
No, I don't want to prepare though, because I like being caught by surprise by questions. That's part of the fun.
So you like being caught off guard, so you can hem and haw anyway. I don't see. It doesn't compute to me. But regardless, can you think of anything here?
Oh, no, I really can't think of much different from what you said. I would say that, yeah, because you already, like, that's the thing. It's like you already said, like, Lucha Libre is like the spice of life kind of stuff. And then, like the I don't know, like, fucking hell.
Yeah, strong style. I don't even know if that was really like a food type. I just really thought of like
strong style is a steak dinner, brother.
And that's, I even put steak, yeah, because I just thought of like something like gamey, chewy, like really tough, got to really work through.
Yeah, strong style is eating a steak off of a cow that Rocky used to train.
Yeah, I love that metaphor. That actually really works. Oh man,
that's the cow that while it was hanging in the freezer, Rocky went in there and beat the shit out of it for a few hours.
You gotta tenderize the meat, Rocky. Oh my god.
You gotta tenderize the meat, Adrian.
Oh my Jesus. Well, that's my first tap out of the video.
Oh, all right. By the way, can I just say that the British technical style is a soft pretzel because they literally type.
There you go. See, look at this smart motherfucker right here. Goddamn. All right, next question. Or set of questions.
Yeah, we've got 2 questions from Aaron. I believe it was Kuyanga, right? Because you didn't write his last name on the sheet.
No, yeah, it's Aaron. Yeah, it's our Aaron.
All right. First question. He's got 2 biggest criticisms of contemporary New Japan.
I would say sometimes the long title reigns can be a bit much, and that gets in the way of narrative shifts. Like, for example, and I have to keep going back to it, Wrestle Kingdom 12. Naito got super over with the crowd, and I think sometimes, even though I really admire New Japan's long-form storytelling, wrestling isn't like a static narrative kind of artifact. It's very dynamic, very fluid, very prone to change, to put it simply. And I think Naito getting super over is just really evidence of that. And New Japan not capitalizing on that momentum, I think, that was a mistake. I mean, yes, they're committing to a 2-year plan, and it might actually end up for a really amazing main event at Wrestle Kingdom 14. But sometimes I think you got to sacrifice the long-term vision, or at least find a different way to get to it, just to capitalize on the momentum of the moment. So that would be my, biggest criticism of New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the like the over sexualization of female valets is kind of a problem, just because like if they really wanted to like over sexualize their performers, as long as they did it with both genders, I'd be cool with it. But they literally only do it with the women, and like
Right.
you'll never see any male performers like showing any extra skin than what you see them wear in the ring. Maybe they'll do like a fucking magazine shoot, like that kind of thing, but that's about the extent of it. But like the way that they used to literally like have the cameramen zoom in on Maria's ass when she was around, and they have like Miho Abe coming out in like a G-string and like zooming in on her ass and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, as a straight male, I can't complain about the visual, but as far as like, equality kind of thing, it's kind of messed up as far as I'm concerned.
That's a really good answer, dude. That was a really thoughtful answer. I like that. I didn't even really think about that, to be honest. I'm really
Well,
glad
and especially because they don't have any women's wrestlers on the roster. Like they don't have women's wrestling at all in New Japan. So if your only real representation of women is as sex objects, that's definitely like regressive,
Yeah, and I don't really think you could fall back on Stardom either, because I don't see them sexualizing male people either. Like, as valets.
No, yeah, like you don't see Stardom with super overly sexualized male valets either. Which, like, if they did have that, and there was like a legitimate like, oh well, Stardom is literally just like the sister company to New Japan, then I would be like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But like, they really don't have any of that, and there's also like, you never see New Japan even acknowledge Stardom, so it's clearly not necessarily like the full blown sister company. They're just kind of similar.
Yeah, Jackie even said in chat, dude, she read an interesting article on that subject. I did tell her to like link it in the Discord, because I'd be interested to read that as well. And I think you brought up some great points. That was really good. I have nothing else to say. We can move on to our next question.
Well, and I would also say, the fact that they feature someone as disgusting and really loathsome as fucking Ryusuke Taguchi. Fuck off, New Japan. What are you doing? Fire his ass.
Yeah. Yes. There you go. Beautiful.
You thought I was going to talk about like Elgin or something.
Yeah, I was loud. I'm like, oh, where is this going? And then that makes sense.
No, it's literally just fuck Taguchi. He's the worst. Now that they finally got rid of Kushida's cancerous ass, now they have one motherfucker to get rid of, and it's Taguchi.
Now they have to get rid of the literal cancerous ass.
All right, let's move on. Second question from Aaron. One book, album, and movie everyone needs to read, listen to, and watch.
Okay, of course, like questions like these, you're going to think about your own subjective characteristics and what influenced your own life.
Yeah.
When I first got into philosophy, which I was even telling a friend of mine, well, a Twitter acquaintance, as I'll call them, the other day, I'd love to go back to the beginning when I first really nurtured the love and passion for it. And one of the most influential books I read was by a moral philosopher, Michael Sandel, called Justice, What's the Right Thing to Do? And it was like one of the most perfect introductions to moral philosophy and ethics I think I've ever read, because it took real life issues like Katrina aid, for example, and organ transplantation and all these things that we deal with every day. So it's not like this abstract highfalutin stuff. And it really does ask, like, what would you do in this position? Here are the consequences of that path, and then like all that stuff. I thought it was a very challenging, very substantive, very mindful read. And I think, when you're pursuing any passion, especially one that has any kind of a tie-in to literature or anything like that, the beginning steps are so important and so formative. And I'm so glad I encountered that book when I did. So that would be for my book. Music, because I'm not as musically inclined, I'm getting there because Spotify was one of the best things to happen to me. I would say Eminem's most recent album, Kamikaze, because I just thought it was so good. It was one of the better Eminem albums that I've heard, like, ever since, he's kind of laid low and then come back and, when he's no longer like Slim Shady as we know when he first burst on the scene. Or Ravenface, Divided Kingdom. Fucking love Ravenface. They're amazing. So that would be music. And movie, I mean, Ashton should already know this one. Whiplash, and then before that, you know, Butterfly Effect, director's cut, because the theatrical release was fucking ass. But Whiplash, my God. That is cinematic sex if it ever existed. What a fucking film that was. I recommend everybody see that because I think the message, at least that I extrapolated from it, and I think Ashton even agreed with me because we talked about the film like in the days after. I think it's so universal despite the fact that it kind of centers on jazz music. And I think because of that universal theme, it's relatable to anybody. You just got to swap out jazz with whatever it is you're thinking about. You know, for me, it would be philosophy, and you know, for whatever like really call, you know, whatever you guys' passions are or whatever guides you, you know, I think it'd be relatable to everybody. So Whiplash would definitely be my movie as well. What about you, Ash? I'm curious what you have to say about this.
Yeah, I have a much harder time with this because like when I think of like something that everyone needs to read, listen to, and watch, I'm not necessarily thinking about what I liked the most. I'm thinking more about something that can apply to everybody, that can teach everybody a valuable lesson, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And really, that makes the reading thing even more difficult because I've probably read a grand total of like under 50 books in my life. Like you could probably say it's been like around like 20 to 30 books that I've read front to back in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And you know, a big chunk of those were the Harry Potter books, and a few other of those were like completely like specialized as far as like football related or like fantasy books and stuff like that. So I would say like the closest thing to anything that I can recommend that you might get something that could like affect your life in any way is the George Carlin book, When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops?
Yeah, I know you've told me about that book before. Yeah, that's cool.
Like it's not like, you know, it's not like a life-changing kind of thing or anything, but I feel like it's more likely that you'll get something out of reading that book than just about any other book that I've read. So that's my answer for the book. For the album, that's even tougher because music I feel like is even more subjective than books. Because with books, you can get something out of just about any book as long as it's not, you know, like a fucking, and even no, like, see, yeah, like you can get something out of just about any book. Whereas with music, I don't know, man. I feel like that's so much more subjective because it's more like related, and it's like I could recommend like a certain genre that someone just straight up is like, I don't like anything in that genre, so why would I listen to that kind of thing? I guess if I had to recommend any album, it would be Led Zeppelin, Mothership. It's like compilation. It's a compilation album of pretty much all their biggest hits over the course of their active, you know, run, and it's a grand total of like 24 songs, I think, and it's like it really just personally, like, even if you don't like a song, just skip it, and there's like enough variety on those two discs on that album that if you can't find any new songs that you genuinely like, I am sorry that I couldn't help you, but I feel like you probably should be able to, you know, like,
yeah.
Because that's the big thing about like Led Zeppelin was almost like another Queen in the sense that like they had kind of a core style, but almost every song that they made was different from the last, you know.
Absolutely, man. That's a cool
So
pick.
that would be my music. And then for a movie, God, that's really difficult too. God, what was your movie? Was Whiplash? That was too easy.
Yeah.
That's literally just you talking about what your favorite movie ever is, though. Like you know, like I don't know if it's my favorite movie ever, but the first thing that comes to my mind then is Big Lebowski. But that's not a good answer.
I mean, again, that's why I even preface my answers by saying, like, you can't help but get subjective at the end of the day because, like you with reading, there's only so much cinema that I've seen, and you know, I think it's like, I don't know. I just feel like if something really touched me on a deep level, maybe it would have the power to touch other people. Because most cinema, I'm just like, oh, you know, that was a good film. Maybe I'll even say it's a really great film. But like, I felt fucking legitimately inspired after Whiplash, and I can rarely say that that's happened. So I almost had to go with that. But it's difficult. It's difficult though, because again, it just comes back to you're not going to see everything because no human being is going to see everything. You're naturally going to be drawn to other things and make a hierarchy of These are the things I like. These
You
are
know
the
what?
things
I have an answer. I have an answer.
Okay.
Exposure.
Oh, dude, I love that. Yes.
Because the
Yes.
question is, what's one book out of the movie everyone needs to read, listen to, and watch? I think everyone should watch Love Exposure. It's such a great movie. And like the thing is, if we're forcing people to watch something that they wouldn't otherwise watch, Love Exposure is the perfect answer because it's 4 hours long, and most people would never sit down to intentionally watch a 4 hour long movie.
That's true. That's true. Damn, I love that answer. That was really good.
So Love Exposure would be my answer for that. And specifically the full like 4 hour long version too, because I know that there is like an hour and a half long cut of it. It's just not the same.
Right.
All right, next 3 questions are from Races Fan Rocks. First up, if WWE had a World Cup, which country would win? And then Races Fan Rock said that he picks Ireland because of Becky, Finn Balor, and Sheamus.
Well, I picked Japan because Io Nakamura and Kyrie. I'm always going to pick Japan as long as Kyrie exists. So,
and because I'm a cynical piece of shit and I'm going with the option that the WWE would actually choose, the correct answer is the United States because it's the fucking WWE and it's Vince. And why would he ever let any other country appear to be better than his?
Let joy in your life. You're not wrong, though. All right, next question.
I'm sorry, but really, if I had to pick a country other than the US, because the whole point of it being a World Cup is that it would only be countries that aren't in the US, I would still probably just pick like Canada because technically Brock's from Canada and they would probably use him in that and he would win everything.
Actually, that's clever. That's clever. All right, next question.
Second question from Racist Fan Rocks. See, now I asked him to explain what he meant by this because I legitimately have no fucking clue what he means by this. I'm going to read exactly what he has typed.
Okay.
What would you get a diner?
Fresh coffee maker? Oh no.
Right, like, and like the thing is, like, Racist Fan Rocks tends not to necessarily spell all of his words out completely, so I don't know if he means a diner or a dinner.
Oh, and see, he clarified, and this is what I thought. Yeah, it's what you would get at a diner. In which case, I'd probably get the same thing that I usually get at diners when we go in the summer. You can never go wrong with French toast and or pancakes, and you have to get a side of hash browns.
So you're going to a diner for breakfast?
Yeah, for me, it's breakfast food. I don't know about you. Are you more of a lunch or dinner kind of guy?
Well, no, I've there have definitely been lots of times in my life where I got taken to a diner and just chose like, you know, do you guys serve breakfast 24/7? And if it's a yes, then I'm all about it. But
yeah.
Just going by how I'm feeling right now, I would probably get an order of chicken strips and mashed potatoes or French fries with gravy.
Ooh. Yeah, all right. I dig it.
Yeah. So
next question from Racist Fan.
The breakfast thing is a great idea too, because like I fucking love diner French toast where they put like the powdered sugar over it and shit.
Yeah, man.
God, that sounds amazing. Third and final question from Racist Fans. What should I try to get? A pet tiger and name it Tony, or a pet lion and name it Scar?
A pet lion and you name it Scar. That's the only correct answer. Unless the tiger's going to feed you Frosted Flakes, there's no reason not to get the lion and name it Scar.
I don't know. Lions are usually more at home in a pack. Tigers are more solo animals, so I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like a lion would make more of a better companion.
Yeah, even for different reasons, we arrive at the same conclusion. Look at this face. Yes.
All right, up next, we've got 5 questions from Chris Venegas on Discord. First up, if you can take any 2 wrestlers and swap their gimmicks, who would you pick?
You know what? This is going to seem out there, but given how he's been booked, I honestly don't think it would really matter anyway, and it would be something different because I feel like he's lost most credibility anyway. I would swap R-Truth's gimmick of goofiness with Samoa Joe being a destroyer because the juxtaposition of a big-ass, scary Samoan dude being as goofy as R-Truth is just fucking hilarious to me. So those are the 2 gimmicks that I would swap. And R-Truth just being, because we already know that he can be kind of that crazed heel. with the Lil Jimmy and the CO conspiracy. So if he turns it up a bit more, like in the aggression department, I don't know. I don't think it has much of a shelf life as a guy working with the juxtaposition that Joe would be, but it would still make for some entertaining television for at least maybe 2-3 months. So that would be the gimmick swap I would do.
Nice. Yeah, I can dig that. All right, now I've got to figure out my shit. Okay, who other than Samoa Joe? Because I know he'd be your go-to answer for this. Who's
Right.
total like Fonzie level badass?
Oh, man, I'm trying to think because KO just came back, but he doesn't necessarily give off that badass vibe like in that way. God, if Mark Henry was still a heel and still actively competing, he'd honestly be my pick. But he's been gone.
I think I have an answer though.
Okay, what do you got?
We're gonna switch the Beast, Brock Lesnar,
Oh God.
with Kairi Sane.
Oh my God.
The
No.
Pirate Prince and the Beastess.
Oh my God. Why?
Dude, Kairi basically just became Hitokiri. Let's be real.
Dude,
or I guess Doku.
Given that imagery though, I can't get out of my head the image of Kairi doing a pterodactyl scream now, like Brock. Oh my God.
Kairi Sane is now the Beast. Brock Lesnar is, or Paul Heyman is her manager. So she doesn't, I mean, she can talk, she can cut pretty okay English promos, but she doesn't need to anymore because she has Paul Heyman. And Brock Lesnar enters the arena every night with a, with a pirate ship wheel, and his finisher's now an elbow drop.
Okay. Next set of questions, or no, not next set of questions. Next question from Chris Venegas.
Second question from Chris Venegas: if TWitWoW was a band and released their first album, what would the album's name be?
I'm lazy when it comes to this stuff. Around the world of wrestling, I think just to kind of play on the TWitWoW concept already. You don't really go all out on the first album. You fucking make them work for it over time until you really establish yourself. And then you start coming out with the badass album titles. So, yeah, Around the World of Wrestling, that's my pick. What about you, partner? What's our album name?
I wouldn't want us to make like a wrestling-themed album. What the hell? We're a band. I mean, we have to be a wrestling-themed band. Jeez.
But, brother, you got to respect the gimmick. Like, yeah. I'm just keeping our cards close to our vest, man. That's all I'm doing.
I think our album name would be Never Try.
Perfect. Each track would just be 0 minutes and 0 seconds because it's blank because we never picked up the instruments in the first place. Ooh, double.
See, now that's how you send a message to the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Never try. The album has a double meaning, Mark. Oh, perfect. All right, next
I will
question.
say, though, I liked Mark's suggestion of This Week in the World of Wrestling Music. I would delete the wrestling, though, and just call the first album TWitWoW.
Oh, my God.
This Week in the World of Music.
Me trying to play the harmonica or even proficient in an instrument. At all.
Drums pretty well. I'm pretty good at drums.
Okay. So me playing random notes on the harmonica, you doing the drums. I could totally see us topping the iTunes charts completely.
Our first hit single would be our cover of Rocket Man.
There you go. Oh, Jesus Christ!
What? You could rock the harmonica in that, right?
Expectations.
Can I temper mine? I'm sorry.
Absolutely, but no, we can give it a try, and maybe if we just found somebody like obsessed with auto-tune, I'm pretty sure we could top the charts in no time, because after all, that's like 90% of music today, so we'll be good.
Thank you for that visual, Jackie. All right, third question from CV. What is your favorite time period of the United States?
Oh, God.
Because your favorite time period, you always go right to the French intellectual revolution or whatever it is. I want to know what it is in the U.S.
Indignantly, you said that. Like, you just enjoy those snooty intellectuals or whatever. Can't recourse to that this time, bitchwad. Let's see here. Favorite U.S. period. Favorite period in the U.S. So wait, are we saying historically or just like in general? My favorite time like living in this country. I just want context again because I
I
was
mean,
responding to Jackie. So
the question is literally, what is your favorite time period of the United States? Like the United States became a thing in 1776. So what's your favorite time period between then and now?
oh God, you know it's gonna be a weird answer, but I always did kind of like learning about it when it comes to U.S. history, which I found to be mostly dry. I always did enjoy like the gold rush, just seeing people, panning for gold, and that's why I really did enjoy when we watched the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, that story of the guy looking for the gold, because I mean that was a period that I actually liked best, and it was a very simple story. And yeah, I just always kind of imagined me going out and finding nuggets of gold that way. And yeah, so I'll say the gold rush. I'm gonna go with that. What about you, man?
For me, it's like post World War II New Deal US.
Wasn't that like no post World
Like
War II?
50s, 50, like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, basically. That
That's the time, right? That I think a lot of Americans, they were just so fatigued by war. I think they just wanted to have a good time, and that's when I really feel like you saw like commercialism like really
well,
take off.
yeah, well, there was the post-war exhaustion, like you just said, but it was also a lot to do with the New Deal from FDR.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally revitalized the economy. Plus, you had like 90 and like even like towards the tail end of that time period, 70% tax rates on the super rich.
right.
And like, yeah, like it was legitimately, if we would translate the exact economic rules from that time period to today, Fox News would have a fucking stroke.
Yeah.
They would be like, oh my God, all these people trying to make the economy look like it was in the 60s. They're a bunch of commies.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so true. That's really
Even
sad.
though it was literally just capitalist USA, but with actual regulations on capitalism. Like it can work, guys.
Yeah, yeah, it absolutely can. Um, fuck. I really like that answer. Next question.
Next question from Chris Venegas. It's the fourth question. Is there a wrestling? And by the way, Foster, we are seeing your messages. I apologize. We got the No Way Jose and Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon and Velveteen Dream, and then Eon Scum, and then okay, are my messages going through? Yeah, like we've seen all of those. So if you had any more in between those, then we didn't see them, but those are the ones that we saw. Anyway, fourth question from Chris Venegas: is there a wrestling match that you've changed your opinion on since you first watched it?
This was kind of difficult for me because, again, I feel like with questions like this, you kind of suffer recency bias, especially if you don't go back that often and watch older matches.
Which I don't.
So for me, I'm just gonna say like I've watched the Angle Benoit match enough times that like I used to be really infatuated with it, but I've seen so much incredible wrestling since then that like I still love the match and it still has a very sentimental place for me. Being a young kid, getting hooked on wrestling, and it was a formative match for me, especially as a Benoit fan. But I don't think it's anymore like my favorite match of all time. One of fucking Kenta's matches with Marufuji has replaced that. I forget what exactly like what year it was and everything because they've had so many matches. But I know like if somebody showed me the video of the venue and everything, but I saw that match and I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking incredible. So I'd say like my opinion of that match has diminished slightly. And then on the opposite end, I mean Dream Champa, when I first saw that at TakeOver War Games 2, I was like, yeah, that was a really good match. And then the more I watched it, the more I'm like, this was actually like this match made me fucking feel. And this match really took me back like as a fan. So I'd say like, I mean, and that did ultimately become my match of the year. So while one match depreciated, giving you one side of the spectrum, my appreciation of the other match just grew and grew with each rewatch. So I just wanted to give you answers on both sides of the poll there. And yeah, so that's it. And I'm sorry I can't go any further back because I just really don't do that all that often. And when I do, it's only for performers that I'm really vested in, like a ZSJ or a Benoit or a Mundo or whatever. So you got any answers for this, Ashton?
Yeah. Oh man, it's a tough one for me because like you kind of mentioned, I don't really ever go back and rewatch matches. I would say that a match that I was kind of jaded about when it happened, that in hindsight was probably better than I gave it credit for, is the Bailey Sasha Iron Woman match on NXT Takeover Respect.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, like I when it happened, I was like, that was good, but it wasn't as good as their first match. And to this day, I don't even know. Like, I would really genuinely have to go back and watch them to really be certain of that opinion. But I also feel like in hindsight, there were so many sort of iconic moments in that match that I tend to kind of forget about because I kind of undervalue it as a match. So that would be my answer.
All right, I like that. Next question.
Fifth and final question from Chris Venegas. If Nakamura returned to New Japan this year or next, which wrestler would you choose for his first feud?
Personally, just thinking about Nakamura and the guys I love seeing him work with, I want to say Will Ospreay for the Intercontinental title. Like, I would have Ospreay win the title in 2020, and then I would have Nakamura return in 2020, because you figure that's just it, like a year from now. We only have 1 year's wait, so it's not like that far out. And then Ospreay, as a defending champion, immediately having to prove his mettle against one of the greatest Intercontinental champions in New Japan history. Fuck yeah, Ospreay Nakamura easily.
You know what? I would say that's probably the best sort of new matchup option. But I would actually go to something that we're a little more familiar with, kind of like an old reliable that I know would produce a great match immediately, and that's Kota Ibushi.
Ooh, I like that, man. That's a good choice.
Because Nakamura Ibushi, to this day, is still, in my opinion, Nakamura's best match that I've ever seen.
Right. Yeah, dude, for sure.
So I would choose Ibushi. All right, next up, we've got 3 questions. Well, kind of 3. We've really, we've got like 1.5 questions from Rotten Butter, but it's 3. The first one is the one that I would count as the half, because it's just every month he does this, and it's, our opportunity to kind of talk about what we've done over the last month, things that we've seen, things that we've read, things that we've watched, things that we've listened to, all of that kind of stuff. Rotten Butter's first question is kind of dedicated to just asking us to update all you guys on the content that we've consumed over the last month. So, John, did you want to go first?
Actually, how about you go first this time? I feel like I always go first on the Rotten Butter question, so you start.
Big one is Umbrella Academy. We got through the entire first season, and it was fucking excellent. Another big one, really 2 big ones that we've been keeping up with have been The Magicians and Deadly Class. The Magicians and Deadly Class are actually both on Sci-Fi, and I've thoroughly enjoyed both of those shows. I love The Magicians. That's, like, as far as shows that are running right now, that's easily my favorite. Deadly Class has been a lot of fun, though, and John is way more into Deadly Class than me. He read the comics and everything, and he's like obsessed with the comics, and every time we watch an episode, it's, oh, this is different from the comics. Oh, they're doing this really true to the comics, and he's always talking about the comics, and I just think it's adorable and amazing. And then what other kind of Netflix stuff? Oh, I watched The Incredibles 2 with my mom on Netflix while she was feeling under the weather a few weeks ago. So that was really cool. I really, really enjoyed that movie. It was great. And speaking of The Incredibles and Pixar in general, I spent a few days kind of obsessing over the Pixar theory, this idea that all Pixar movies take place within the same universe and they're all somehow connected in some way. And the whole idea that, like, the little girl Boo from Monsters, Inc. ended up growing up obsessing over how to get back to Sully and how to reconnect with Kitty and stuff like that. And she ended up growing into the witch from Brave. And the reason that she went back to that time is because she's time traveling and she made a time loop, and she's trying to just make sure that she's always able to see Sully. And, like, it's just the amount of work that's gone into that is really cool to me. And the guy's name that made it, oh God, the guy, it's like it's John something, I think, the Pixar theory. John, if I see the name, John Negroni, that's what it is. John Negroni is the guy that came up with it, or at least initially published about it. So huge props to him and everyone else that's kind of built on top of his work. So cool to me. God, what else have we done? We haven't had really that much. Really, the big thing that I've consumed, quote unquote, consumed over the last month has been trailers for movies that are coming out in like April, May, June that I'm super psyched about. Like the second Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer just dropped, and that movie looks great. Endgame, I'm hearing that all of the trailers that they've shown have only featured footage from the first like 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, and that the movie has a 3 fucking hour runtime, and that looks amazing. I'm probably going to go see Captain Marvel in theaters this coming month, and that looks awesome. Frozen 2 got a trailer dropped, and it looks great.
It actually genuinely, not to cut you off or interrupt.
No, yeah, it looks really good though.
That genuinely looks good. Yeah.
And dude, like, and even like Toy Story 4 has a new trailer. Not even a new trailer, dropped in like November, December. But that movie, I'm excited about that movie too. And I didn't really like the second and third ones all that much. Like, I loved the first one. The second one was okay. Didn't like the third one much at all. Didn't like the hugs a lot bear or whatever it was that was like the villain of
Lotso Huggin' Bear.
That guy, whatever it was. I wasn't a big fan of that. Spider-Man Far From Home's coming out this summer. That trailer had me all kinds of excited because fucking Jake Gyllenhaal is Mysterio, and that's so cool. Jordan Peele has a new movie coming out called Us.
Yes.
The trailer to that was great. MIB International with fucking Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth looks great. I'm looking forward to that. Like, really, at this point, I feel like the biggest stuff that's happening isn't actual content dropping. It's trailers hyping content for later down the line that I'm psyched as hell about. April, guys. April's going to be fucking insane because the first like 3 weeks of April is TWitWoW Mania. We've got WrestleMania. We've got TakeOver New York. We've got a 5v5 video. We've got live reactions to 2 consecutive weeks of Raw and SmackDown because of the post-Mania Raw and SmackDown, and then the Superstar Shakeup. We've got, all kinds of preview and predictions and stuff to do. And then we've got Avengers Endgame coming out, and Game of Thrones season 8 is dropping in April as well. Like, everything's happening in April, and it's amazing. And I'm so happy and excited for April to come around. Yeah. See, more shit happening in April. Apparently Mortal Kombat 11 is dropping in April too. That's insane.
Oh, that's gonna be so good.
Yeah. So as far as what I've played, I've been kind of minorly obsessed with Robopon 2 this month. And most of you have no clue what the fuck that is, but just know that it's a GBA game that's a sequel to Robopon, which was a Game Boy Color game that came out in like 2001. And Robopon 2 came out in like, I think 03 or so. And it's basically like Pokemon meets Final Fantasy meets Earthbound, except with robots. And I managed to actually beat the game for the first time since I was like probably 14 years old the other week. And now I'm trying to beat it in a different way. And it's like, I don't know why I'm so into it to the point that even though I beat it, I'm still trying to figure out other ways to beat it. I think it's because I felt like the way that I beat it was like unsatisfactory. Like, yeah, I beat it, but I didn't feel good about it. So now I want to beat it again in more of a way that I can enjoy, which might not make sense to some of you, but it makes sense in my weird mind. So yeah, that's about the extent of it. Of course, John and I played in the shit out of Rocket League pretty much every night. Rocket League for an hour to 2 hours, and I can't even necessarily say confidently like, yeah, we're totally getting better anymore, because it's starting to feel like we've kind of plateaued a little bit. But
I don't know. I feel like we've been on kind of a hot streak lately, though, the past 2 nights at least.
Yeah. That's I was even about to say, like, we've been putting up some pretty nutso numbers over the last couple nights, so hopefully that trend continues.
We're gonna crack 20, brother. I have faith.
That's about all that I've got in my mind that I've consumed over the last month. So John, if there's and I'm sure that there's a lot of like Netflix shows and stuff that I missed out on that you watched with your family, so go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap between what you and I did, because even like you watching trailers by yourself, I've watched some trailers as well. Although I wanted to ask you, did you watch I forget the actual formal movie title, so just the latest X-Men movie trailer. Did you see that yet?
Yes, Dark Phoenix, yeah.
Dark Phoenix, yeah. So you watched that already? Yeah, I haven't watched that yet, but you being that enthused about it, I should check it out when we get off here.
Oh, dude, and it's coming. I've heard that it got pushed back to June, but like, and then like the trailer that they just dropped just said coming soon, which is such a WWE move, and it's got me worried that they're gonna push it back again. But like, God, I hope it drops in June, because why would they keep dropping trailers for it if they weren't planning on releasing it?
They saw April's flex and they're like, nah, fam, hard pass.
Yeah. I think, and that's the thing, like April's a loaded month, but I think June's pretty loaded too, because I think Detective Pikachu comes out in June as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Detective Pikachu. You know what? Like, I was even telling you that I've been seeing more content for that, and you got to understand, and I hope I don't offend Foster, because, you know, despite our antagonisms, I love Foster deeply, and I think he's a beautiful person.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude.
I'm not that big on Pokemon, but that genuinely looks good to me. Like, yeah.
I'm looking, Dark Phoenix is set to release June 7th. Men in Black International's June 14th. Toy Story 4 June 21st. Holy fuck.
Yeah, man, you know what I actually heard from somebody? I don't know if it was my friend Rick that I tell you about that's like a big DC fan or whatever. Somebody said that they feel like with Dark Phoenix, they just have a bad feeling they're going to keep pushing it back until it just goes straight to DVD, because every month it's...
Yeah, dude, I've actually legitimately heard that they might push that back until they just decide to drop it on Disney Plus, like what Netflix did with the Cloverfield Paradox.
Honestly, dude, that might be the smartest course of action, because box office is looking fucking pumped this year. Like,
and by the way, Detective Pikachu comes out May 10th.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
it's a lot. But just to kind of circle back around.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. There was a Pokemon Direct earlier, or not earlier, but like a day or two ago. It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Gen 8 titles were released, and we got to see what the starters look like. Gen 8 is Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. And the starters are like adorable. Like there's a little cute little like bunny with like a band-aid looking thing on its nose, looking like it's like a boxer or some shit, except its name is Score Bunny, and people think that it's based on like British soccer players. And then like the little water thing's name is Sobble, and it can go invisible in water and shit, and it's super cute. And then my favorite is the little grass monkey named Grookey, and it's just wonderful. I love it. I can't wait to see their evolution lines.
Yeah, I'm excited for people that have been waiting for a Gen 8, because even before it officially came out, I saw a lot of people being like, I hope this is about Gen 8, I hope this is about Gen 8, and it was about fucking Gen 8. So really happy for all the diehard fans, because that looks fucking amazing. Even though, like, I say all this, and I should just qualify that I am one of those people that, like, if you put a gaming system in front of me and I get to be adept at it, and then you put a Pokemon game in front of me and I just get enough time to get the basics, I'm hooked on the game. Like, the movies really would always suck me in at like the most bare level. But anyway, to get back to Rotten Butter's question, for me, usual same old with the family. Played a lot of Mario Kart 8 and Smash Ultimate, which I am getting better with. My best character used to be the Wii Fit trainer, and now I'm getting better with Kirby, so that's pretty cool. Mario Kart 8, I'm starting to really get good at Grand Prix. Still haven't nabbed second. I consistently come in third, but then my next plan is to get second, and then ultimately to take my first place in a Grand Prix, which will be amazing. We started.
So when are you going to start? When are you going to go back to a Young Link?
Young Link on Smash? I might not, honestly. Dude, I have so much fun with Kirby just randomly absorbing fucking people and being a pain in the ass. Like, it's so good. And Wii Fit Trainer, it's embarrassing that that's the character I'm best with, but the glute game is just on point. So, you know, I can't really complain about that too much, I guess. We finished the show Unreal. The ending was all right. I think the first season of it is just one of the best shows, like, on TV. It kind of lost its way after the second season, and I actually did some research, and the creators actually had some infighting, and one of them left, which just explains so much. We started the show You on Netflix because, dude, that show has been raved about like fucking crazy by like a lot of my friends and even some people that I listen to. It's been all right. The last 2 episodes we watched, because I think we're up to episode 8, it really started picking up. So I'm enjoying that. Let's see. What else did we do here? Of course, as always, reading a shit ton of philosophy, which has felt so fucking good. You know, I'm definitely getting refocused on philosophy. In fact, speaking of another thing I did, I very recently formally submitted my abstract for a conference in Michigan this October. I'm really excited, and I'm just going to be the main event, and everybody else can suck a railroad spike. So I'm very excited about that. Did you mention, because I know you mentioned like a lot of stuff we did together, did you mention the interview in Ballad of Buster Scruggs? Because that was this month. So,
oh, shit. No, I didn't mention either one of those. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, I don't even know what to make of that. Like, that was strange. Like, I felt like that was like a fucking out of body experience or something, man. That was such a weird thing. Like I can't even call it a movie. It was like a collection of like mini films or something. I don't know what to call it, man. It was weird.
It was like an anthology in cinematic form, which is weird.
Yeah, and I don't like anthologies in the first place. So
yeah, you know what? You and my sister's boyfriend, Craig, you guys have that in common. Like, yeah, what? Now, let me ask you though, as just a quick aside before I get back to saying what I did this month. What is it you don't like about anthologies? Is it the same reason as him, where it's like you like a sense of continuity and?
Well, no, it's not necessarily just continuity. I just don't want to get invested in something that I'm expecting to last an hour and a half and have it taken away in 20 minutes.
Right. That's fair.
Like,
That's
it's the same reason I didn't like No Country for Old Men, because of the false protagonist bullshit.
Okay. So maybe your problem is less with anthologies and more just false protagonists as a concept. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're probably more close to right there. But even then, like, I wish Black Mirror had more continuity to it. I wish Black Mirror was more like, like we could see the effects of one episode in the next, basically.
That's fair. And speaking of, people better give me my fucking new season of Black Mirror. I will hurt somebody. But regardless.
Speaking of, like, people not giving us our new seasons of something that we desperately want, Rick and fucking Morty season 4, please.
Yeah, guys, for any Rick and Morty fans in the chat, because Ashton already knows this story, I told my sister, Rick and Morty, the next season is rumored to be coming out in December of, this year, right? Yeah. And she's like, that's fucking ridiculous. She looked right at me and she's like, that's fucking ridiculous. So a lot of people
because at the end of the last episode that aired of season 3 was in like October or November of 2017. And Mr. Poopy Butthole was like, I'll see you guys again in like a really long time. I'll probably have a big old Santa Claus beard by the time I see you again. And then, like, December of 2017 came and nothing happened. And then December of 2018 came and nothing happened. So, like, the next most likely thing is December of 2019.
Yeah. Oh my God, Javaris, December, bro, what the fuck?
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they did another April Fool's thing where they dropped season 4, episode 1 on April Fool's again this year.
But then...
Or hell, given that they have a precedent for it, they'll drop a fake episode on April Fool's this year. Be like, ha, we actually did get you this time.
Because, Ashton, just refresh my memory real quick, and Rotten Butter's gonna be like, what the fuck happened to my question? But, like, when that episode dropped April 1st, that night I came to you and I told you about it. Wasn't there like a big gap though between that and episode 2? Like,
it was like a multiple months. Yeah,
like that is the one biggest weakness of Rick and Morty, that they better hope the writing doesn't ever slack.
Yeah, dude. Episode one obviously dropped on April Fool's Day, and then episode 2 was July 30th. So literally like 4 full months later, almost.
Right. Yeah, they better hope that the writing never slacks, because I think they have a lot of goodwill with their fan base that they can tolerate these time gaps. But if the writing ever starts to dip, you best believe people are no longer going to wait this fucking long for new episodes. So I hope they can keep the writing strong, because
I mean, it's really, the thing is, like, it really feels like Gravity Falls all over again, because Gravity Falls had crazy time gaps in between episodes multiple times. Like, Gravity Falls was, let me look real quick to get some exact numbers here for how long it was spread out. So Gravity Falls had a grand total of 40 episodes, and they aired ranging over 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, it's only 2 seasons. So it's not like we're talking about like, oh, well, it makes sense if there were 10 episodes per season and there were 4 seasons and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's straight up like 40 episodes, only 2 seasons. And it started June 15th, 2012 and ended February 15th, 2016.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Steven Universe, dude, for people that are a big fan of that show, which I've kind of dipped out for this exact reason. They have huge time gaps too. I don't know what the thing is with animation and these time gaps, because I don't remember other animated shows taking these big breaks. But, it's kind of ridiculous, and it kills certain fandoms, which is sad, because, there's a lot of good concepts there. I hope Rick and Morty will be okay. But yeah, I am hoping that at least December 2019 we get it.
The Rick and Morty fandom is way too toxic to just go away.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna like in that joke. It was John. The Rick and Morty fandom is too intelligent to leave. Yeah. So yeah, but that's that. What else? Okay,
I mean, I'm sure if you would ask them that, they would be like, yeah, totally.
So I did mention the Netflix films that you did mention with Interview and Ballad of Buster Scruggs. You already mentioned Deadly Class and the Magicians.
Yeah, Interview was fun. Interview was fun. I enjoyed that movie. That was a good
Interview was fun. I kind of rolled my eyes at some parts because it got to be a bit much for me at some points. But on the
like
whole,
fucking Seth Rogen getting his finger bit off like 5 times.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
The finger biting off aspect of that movie was like the worst part of the movie, honestly.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things where like it was funny the first time and then it was dumb the next like 2 or 3 times and then it became funny again because they just kept doing it.
Yeah. On the music side, and this will be my last update before we move on to our next question. As I told Ashton the other night, I'm slowly becoming a fan of The Weeknd. Again, Spotify is an amazing thing that happened to me.
I can feel my face when I'm with you. I love that
song. And Sleeping with Sirens, I'm getting back into because I just love their Takeover Brooklyn theme. We like it loud, and I listen to that shit all the time. And then I finally asked myself, what else are they doing? And speaking of WWE, they used music for the Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar kind of video package with Paul Heyman narrating. I think that was like either last Raw or 2 Raws ago. And I, of course, when I really like instrumental music, I scour the fucking comments. And somebody said that that was a song by a group called Shades of the Abyss. And I also found them on Spotify, and they specialize in purely instrumental music. So they're really cool. I like it.
Damn, look at you expanding your horizons.
Expanding my musical consciousness, son. So yeah, that's my answer to that question. We can move on to Rotten Butter's next question.
All right. Now, Rotten Butter's second question. Who do you feel has and I love this question, by the way. Who do you feel has the greatest disparity between their in-ring skills and their mic/promo skills in either direction? So it could either be someone who's exceptionally good in the ring and just absolutely garbage on the mic, or someone who's exceptional on the mic and just absolute garbage in the ring.
I hope I don't get any flack for this, but there was one person that came to my mind when it came to like the ring mic ratio. I picked Asuka because I love watching Asuka compete in the ring, but her English really hasn't improved much at all. Like, and I hate.
Yeah, and the really sad part about that is that like we've seen Kyrie put in the work and get really much better at English, and it's like that kind of tells you like maybe it's not like, oh, it's just really hard to learn English as a Japanese-born person, and it's more like Asuka's just not fucking trying.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up Kyrie, because the thing is, dude, like, and obviously I'm incredibly biased here, and I want everybody to always be mindful of that, but I do genuinely think, like, she cuts really nice, heartfelt, babyface promos that even if they're not, like, fiery and this and that, she's just so fucking likable. There's that connection there. Asuka has her own kind of likability. I will never deny that. And again, I love watching her in the ring. But on the mic, until she gets all fired up and in Japanese, which I can't even understand, but like because she emotes that way, that's the only thing that really compensates on the mic. Other than that, she's really weak. I got to be honest. So Asuka was my pick. What about you, though, brother? I'm very curious who you would come up with for this.
No, that's a great one. I would say Cesaro is a pretty obvious one to me because he's absolutely incredible in the ring, and his mic work is like passable at best, cringy at worst. You know?
Yeah. Not everybody can be Undisputed Era. God, dude, those guys. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Everyone has time for me.
I'm so mad.
You're farting up the wrong tree. Who does that?
Bobby Fish needs to start wearing a fucking monocle, goddammit.
He really does, dude. Oh my god. Imagine if we put a little axe on it. You're farting up the wrong tree, good sir.
I don't know. I mean, that might have been more funny, but I feel like the way he said it was still pretty funny.
Well, he just said it so so straight faced. He was so serious. Like, you're farting up the wrong tree, mister. God damn, like if he was my neighbor and we would have gotten into like a neighborly quarrel and he would have thrown that at me, I would have just looked at him and been like, huh? Like, just trying to process what he just said to me. Like, what the fuck?
You know what? I feel like he almost talked like Glenn Talbot there. Like, you're farting up the wrong tree there, mister.
Oh my god, yeah. Jesus. All because of the Velveeta Dream. Jeez.
The Velveeta, yeah, I loved that. Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly was like, what's up, oh, we've got the Velveeta Dream. And then Roderick Strong was like, what's up, VD?
Yeah.
Oh, you cheeky prick, you.
All right, next question from Rotten Butter.
The third and final question: to be or not to be?
That is the question, of which I have no answer. Incidentally, I did want to share this. I watched a version of Hamlet in my senior year honors English class with Kenneth Bronoff, who is like a huge Shakespearean and like thespian. He did like a lot of theater school. His version of Hamlet was fucking amazing. It was one of the best in-class films that I watched because it was either that or Finding Nemo for the 900th time, and then you're just kind of hoping for the swerve ending where the son dies. At least if you're sick like me. And I also saw Mel Gibson's version. Yikes. So, what about you, Ashton? To be or not to be?
I choose to be.
Oh, look at you puffing your existential chest out, mister.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we are silly as shit. Next set of questions.
Next set of questions are from Super Blue. First question: how do you feel about Jeff Jarrett being recently hired by WWE as a producer and part-time performer?
I fucking hate it. He's an old fuck that should go in the corner and die. That's my answer to that fucking question. What about you, Ashton? How do you feel about Jeff Jarrett and the opportunities he's been fucking handed lately?
I don't feel, because I couldn't give fewer shits about Jeff Jarrett if I tried to.
That is excellent, good sir. Next.
Next is the second question from Super Blue. Will Stephanie McMahon be in the Women's Rumble match next year, or will she stay out of it like she's been doing? I think she'll stay out of it like she's been doing. And if she doesn't stay out of it, fuck her.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Ashton there. I think she'll stay out of the Women's Rumble, though I will say I've been hearing rumors as of late that she might be working a SummerSlam program with Becky.
Why would you buy into rumors, John?
I'm just saying it's what I've been hearing, and I wouldn't be look, dude, they're fucking McMahons. I can't even believe that Shane is still wrestling, although I should. It's fucking Shane McMahon. And really, here's the thing. I'm only cool with Stephanie getting in the ring if she's going to get a fucking comeuppance. And I know she didn't with Brie. That might be the exception, though, because I don't care for the Bellas. But with Becky, you can't pass up the chance of her just putting Stephanie in a disarmor and, quote unquote, breaking her arm.
You mean that fake, nonsensical bullshit armbar?
I fucking hate that woman so fucking much. Oh, my God. Be thankful, folks, or not thankful, depending on if you enjoy my rants or not, that nobody asked me for a Ronda Rousey rant on this Q&A, because, boy, what have I had fucking material today. Jesus Christ. Next question.
Next, third question from Super Blue. How will Yoshihashi get his world title shot? Will he pin Jay White in a tag match, win the New Japan Cup, pin Jay White in a G1, or get a free shot at Jay White with his G1 spot on the line?
I don't know why you do this to us, man. But I'm gonna say
because you reacted like that right there.
So I have to use reverse psychology. Understood. But I'm gonna say C. Actually, Yoshihashi getting an upset win over Jay White in the G1 seems entirely plausible given the upset wins we've seen in past years. So why the fuck not? So I'm going to say C. There's enough.
I'm going to take option E. Yoshihashi will never get a world title shot as long as he actually exists in his life, ever.
That's not playing by the rules, mister.
Yeah, well.
Wow. Fuck me and the concept.
If the question is actually like which of these options seems like the most likely, then I would probably just agree with you and say, yeah, probably just like an upset win in the G1 and get a shot on power struggle.
See, was that so hard, bud? That was good. You did good. All right, next question.
Thanks, friend.
Yay.
Fourth question from Super Blue. How do you feel about TJP and Ty Dillinger's WWE careers, and where will they go next?
With me, TJP started out fun with his Cruiserweight Classic performance. This is before I knew how fucking toxic he is. He seemed like an intriguing Cruiserweight champion just because of how technically skilled. Like, there is an exception to every rule. It's kind of a rule of thumb I've grown fond of on TWitWoW. You know, guys, that I fucking glomp on to every technical wrestler, or even a person that kind of synthesizes technical wrestling with either like power or something like that. TJP is the one technical wrestler that I can admire his in-ring stuff to a point, but I can never fully enjoy it because it's TJP. Like, ew. So, he seemed like an intriguing Cruiserweight champion at the time, but that quickly fucking fizzled out the moment he opened his mouth. And I'm not even talking about Twitter. I'm talking literally like promos. He had the personality of a wet carrot. which might actually be an insult to carrots. I don't know. I have to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go consult one of the ones in my garden.
Yeah. Oh my God, you have a lettuce patch. Well, actually, no, a carrot patch, I guess. But still, look at Mr. McGregor over here. So yeah, whether as a heel or face, TJP was underwhelming, and I could honestly see him returning to Impact Wrestling, but just not as a suicide gimmick. Or just work the indie circuit with emphasis on PWG, because PWG I think would glomp onto TJP in a heartbeat just because of his in-ring style. That's just me. And with Dillinger, I'll say it till the cows come home. Yeah, well, yeah, I did say I was gonna say AEW, but as far as his WWE run goes, and not his future, because I do agree with Ashton on the future of AEW totally. I feel like he should have never been brought up from NXT, or at the very least not brought up at the time that he was. I really wish he could have seen his program with Rude to fruition, because nobody can tell me that he wasn't slated to beat Rude for the NXT Championship. Maybe McIntyre's arrival would have changed things regardless, but I really did feel like they were telling a long-form story with Dillinger and Rude, and it just never got concluded.
Wonder where we've seen that before. Somebody being prepared for something in a long-term story in NXT, being called up before it has an opportunity to come to fruition. Wow, that's such an unfamiliar sight. We've never seen that before or right now.
I think Ty could have been an amazing mid-carder on the main roster. The Carney term, I guess, is mechanic. That could have just been amazing with the Intercontinental or US title. I definitely feel like Ty could have been a phenomenal US or Intercontinental champion, and they never gave him the chance to. So I definitely feel worse for him than for TJP, especially because this was Ty's second chance. Like, keep in mind, he was Gavin Spears on ECW, and he actually made this gimmick work. And they just they didn't let him finish his story, because you never know, dude. Like, somebody's stock, when they're able to finish a story, might go up even higher than when you cash in. Like, yeah, people were already into Ty, but getting this triumphant babyface moment, that could have really solidified him. We'll never know. And I feel like they really fucked him over. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on Dillinger. And again, to emphasize, as far as future, totally agrees with Ashton. He's AEW bound for fucking sure. So what about you, Ashton?
I hope so.
What do you think about TJP?
The perfect 10, Ronnie Arneal.
Yeah, there you go. But what do you think about their WWE careers? Is it pretty much copy paste of what I said, or do you have any different opinions? Or
it's one of those interesting things where I was kind of late to the Ty Dillinger bandwagon, but when I hitched a ride, I was more passionate than a lot of other people.
Right.
Because, I really didn't watch WWE in like 08, 09. And that was when ECW, and specifically ECW, was kind of at its peak, in the sense that, like, it was, right before it ended, and when it was like almost like hitting a stride kind of thing.
Right.
And that was when Gavin Spears was a thing. So I didn't know about him before NXT. But I had, noticed he had a great look, and he was kind of technically really sound in the ring on NXT when he was kind of still portrayed as just like a jobber. So I kind of latched onto it, and I was like, yeah, man, like, this guy has star power. This guy could be a big deal. And then it turned out that he was already like 35 or 36 years old at the time. I was like, well, shit, he's still good. Give him a chance, man. And yeah. So, it didn't really work out, unfortunately, but I definitely have higher hopes for him on the indies than I do with TJP, just because, like, we've already seen TJP on the indies before. We know what he does. He does, like you mentioned, the suicide stuff, and he does he'll probably have, like you said as well, random appearances on like PWG and shit, and just like whatever. Let him do what he's gonna do, and he's kind of used to that scene, and he's just going back to an already familiar scene, and it's like whatever. Whereas with Dillinger, it's gonna be we're either gonna have like another Cody or like another Drew, where like they leave WWE and immediately become successful in the independent wrestling scene, or we're going to get like a fucking Ryback where, they leave and they go to independent wrestling and you just never hear from them again unless you specifically go out of your way to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of how I see it. And I really hope that Dillinger is closer in success to like a Cody or like a Drew than, like I said, like a fucking Ryback.
All right, next question.
All right, that was the fourth question. Fifth final question from Super Blue. This was like a weird one. I wasn't really sure how to handle this, but I'm gonna read it, and you can tell me what you want to do about it. He said this is for Johnny Scumbag, but he also said it was for me. He said it was specifically for Johnny Scumbag and Ashton. Cut a promo on Stephen Martin's primetime sports store going out of business, which he had owned for 21 years because of his decision to boycott Nike due to their campaign with Colin Kaepernick. And then he added in parentheses, there were other factors that would lead to him going out of business eventually, but I find it funny that he thought defending fabric was more important than keeping his store open.
Just sounds like an asinine racist piece of shit to me. You know, like these fucking people that are like, oh, kneeling during the national anthem, that's just un-American, even though it's actually an exercise of the fucking First Amendment right. The right to speech and kneeling and that stuff is a type of
Right to
speech
protest.
protected. Yeah, and protest and right to protest. And it's all protected under the fucking Constitution, the same document you fucking jerk off on, you know, at least when it benefits you, that, you know, it just enshrines this entire country. So, you know, it's not even so much a promo because honestly, when you cut down one racist, you pretty much cut down all of them because they have that affinity. I guess they're only separated by matters of degree. And what? This guy lost his business, which honestly, yeah, if there were other factors, you were probably horrible at managing that business. No fucking surprise. Because, you know, when you're so bogged down by, you know, prejudicial attitudes, I doubt you really expand your mind anywhere else. It's got to be, you know, very constricted. And yeah, I mean, this is just gonna keep happening. It's fucking 2019, assholes. Welcome to the new year. Like, you know, black people are people. Muslims are people. You know, there are other people outside of your fucking concepts of what a human being is that are incredibly myopic and harmful. And I don't feel bad for this person at all. On the other side, I do like to hope that everybody has the chance to get better, you know, to educate themselves. You know, I am a believer in, you know, being accountable and growing. You know, none of us are perfect. God knows, like, I'm not throwing stones, especially, you know, with my last few days. But at the same time, like, you know, if you're going to swallow that glass, pick yourself up and be better. You know, I want to hope that everybody could get better. But this guy, I don't know how old he is, but I would hope that it would humble him and he would get better. But like most people, I think they just find a way to make their misfortune kind of feed their hate. Like, for instance,
yeah, like they blame it on other people. Naturally.
Yeah, like this guy with his store, right? He'd probably say to himself, you know, if it wasn't for all those immigrants, I probably wouldn't have lost my store. Like, they're always going to find a way to have their misfortunes serve as a kind of rationalization for their prejudice.
Yep.
And it's both a site of condemnation and I don't want to get roasted for this, it's also a sign of pity. Like, the idea that you could be so self-imprisoned by your own hatred that, like, you're missing out on all these amazing human connections and experiences simply because somebody has a darker skin tone than you or follows a different life path than you, whether it be religious or, you know, whatever. It's really fucking sad. You know, like, all of us get thrust into existence. None of us really consents to be here, but we make the best of it. And we all have a litany of tools to fucking figure it out. And you just chose the fucking dullest tools in the fucking shed. I mean, race, it's just fucking antiquated. And the idea that you can just stay trapped in that bubble when science, history, anthropology, sociology, philosophy, every intellectual field developed by man all come together and say, yeah, this racism's fucking trash and just pseudo-intellectual in general. That's a pity, because I think, to me, that's a waste of human fucking flourishing, which in turn wastes human connection. And so what are you fucking living your life for? Sad. So yeah, it's not so much like a scumbag rant, because honestly, like, anymore when I see this stuff, it's not stuff that you can, you know, lampoon and laugh and scorch. Like, you just get tired and you're just like, fuck, I wish people were better. And I wish people were better to other people, you know? So the guy paid his comeuppance. I can hope he gets better, but the sad reality is I think it's just going to make him further entrenched in his hate. And he continues to lose, and we continue to lose because we have to deal with the manifestations and the reverberations of that hate. You know, I could even go further, but I'll stop myself because I know we're on time. We have other questions to get through, but yeah, that's pretty much my answer to that. So,
and I think that's a perfectly reasonable answer, my dude.
All right. Anything you want to add, my friend?
Well, I really don't know much about the situation, but if the thing is, I don't know what his store sold. Like, if his store was selling product, like if their idea of boycotting Nike was literally just refusing to buy and then sell Nike products, and that's a big reason why they went out of business, then you're fucking stupid. Like, I mean, it's like John said, really letting your own personal prejudices get in the way of your business model is really, really stupid and bad business in general. Like, it's just terrible decision making. And, frankly, at that point, if you're willing to do that, you probably deserve to go out of business. So, I'm kind of with John on this too, though, in the sense that, like, it's not like I don't feel like, ranting about this. I don't feel like, lashing out and being all pissy and like, oh, you fuck you, you piece of shit or whatever. And it's more just like, damn, dude, you really fucked up, but now you're paying for it and you probably deserve to. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next question.
Yeah, next question is from Golden Elite. We got 3. First up, you know what? His questions are always really long, so I'm just gonna pull them up and read them word for word because I try and summarize them as best I can, but a lot of the time I miss out on stuff. So, first question from Golden Elite: am I the only one suspicious of the White Rabbit's clothing style? I mean, all the other tribe leaders wear jeans and hoodies and regular clothes, but nah, our boy Rabbit is out here pimped out in a 3-piece suit. Makes you wonder. I guess he follows a very strict order when it comes to his clothing. Wink, wink. So basically implying that the White Rabbit, because he's always dressed up in these fine suits and shit, is secretly a member of the order.
That is an interesting thought to ponder. I'm starting to doubt if the question will ever be answered due to, production issues and just issues, with Lucha Underground in general, with the network and stuff like that. It would be an amazing to see it through. I doubt it, as I doubt like all speculative stuff, even my own. But it is a cool thought, for sure. Anything you want to say, Ashton?
I don't think so. He didn't really even ask a question. It was more just, I have this idea. I think that it's a theory is going to be right. And, I guess it's possible, but like John said, I'm less concerned about, theorizing about Lucha Underground right now and more like we probably aren't even going to see another season. So why bother at this point? Like, I feel I'm in like the depression phase of grief right now. I'm going through the depression phase. I don't want to think about it. Damn it.
Yeah, there you go. I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. Next question. I know he signed with AEW, but here's a fantasy question for you. Jimmy Havoc just signed with Lucha Underground. Give him a gimmick and a new name, preferably, to fit the Luchaverse.
Okay. This is what I came up with. And I'm normally horrible at these, and that's why I'll never apologize, at least for these types of questions, for taking extra time, because I do want to give you guys good answers, and I believe I could be creative. My brain just works differently than Ashton's. So I did need a little bit of this, like, because he is fucking amazing. So while I'm talking, I'm sure he'll come up with something that kicks my ass. But here's what I came up with. I would give Jimmy Havoc a Hannibal Lecter style gimmick. Not necessarily a cannibal, mind you, but a very classy and dignified psychopath with a deep-seated insatiable bloodlust. He would be a resident of the same psych ward that Matt Striker retrieved Vampiro from in Season 2. And we can even have LU do cinematics of Havoc and Vampiro either directly interacting with each other or indirectly. We could show a scene of Havoc violently escaping the institution and coming to Lucha Underground to satiate his bloodlust in a more formalized environment. Or I also had the thought that we could have a therapist bring Havoc to LU as part of a radical rehabilitation program meant to channel his urges in a more productive and civilized manner. I mean, as civilized as this temple could allow.
See, now that I like. That's a really cool idea. I'm going to definitely hop onto that, I think.
And as far as the name, this is probably where me and Ash are going to diverge. I wanted to keep the name Jimmy, but I actually, and I shit you not, to really give put my best foot forward on these questions, because again, I notoriously suck at fantasy booking questions. I looked up fancy British names, and I decided I would go with the name Jimmy Grayson. So Jimmy Grayson to me is very classy and elegant.
Oh, I like that.
So yeah, I think I finally did. I mean, yes, and I will readily admit I did cheat on this because I did prep. But again, my brain doesn't work like yours on this. I do need time sometimes to come up with my best ideas, and I'm proud of this one, so I'm standing by it. So Jimmy Grayson, elegant.
Dude, I love that name. That's a great fucking name. That's so good.
All right, yeah. Well, I hope Golden Elite liked it. So, all right, man. Your ball. What do you want to do with Jimmy Havoc here in Lucha Underground?
Oh, see, and I'm over here like I don't even know if I want to change his name because his name already has some value to it, and like they don't change everyone's names. Like they didn't change Sammy Guevara, like they don't change everybody's names. They just change certain people's names, and I don't know if I would even want to change it. I was even thinking like if you would change it, I don't think I would stick with Jimmy. I would probably go with James something like because Hannibal Lecter is like what the fuck? Like that's like it's less of a sort of informal name. It's more formal. It's like it feels like when you hear it, it kind of strikes you weird. So rather than like oh Jimmy this guy or Jimmy that guy, you could do like James and then like something really like creepy sounding as a last name that I haven't thought of yet. Like you know what I mean? Like I have no clue what I would make the last name.
Right.
James feels more formal than Jimmy. And it's like, and I love your idea of the fact that like you would have him be a member or a former member or a current, rehabilitating member of the same psych ward that Vampiro was at. That's a really cool. And then like, the idea of like extreme lengths to try and let him kind of take his anger out in a healthier way. Like I love that. And then like you could do really interesting things with that too, as far as like maybe he spends like every time he comes he does something weird, like maybe every time he comes he like takes a toothpick with him or takes like a paperclip with him or something, and then like we eventually see in his padded cell that he's got this big ass collection of like fucking paper clips that he like turns into something that he uses to actually fucking escape. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
like the one of those like little incremental stories where it's just like, oh, that's kind of quirky that he takes one of those every time, and then we see what he actually uses them for, and it's like, what the fuck is this right now?
I love that you love my fantasy booking and then used it as a springboard. I feel so accomplished right now.
Yeah, it was really good. It's really good. And yeah, so that could be an option, or like another option would be like he starts like making friends in the temple, but then it's revealed that everyone that he has made friends with is also kind of fucking psychotic and maybe even almost as psychotic as he is, and he uses them as like a fucking gang and abandons the woman that brings him to the temple and like maybe even locks her up in a cell and like runs a fucking rampage on the temple with his new gang. You know what I mean?
Can I just refine my answer very quickly because I just had a thought? Because
man.
I used Hannibal Lecter as kind of a model. That was the wrong person to go with, even though I did say not
Charles
necessarily
Manson.
cannibalism. I wouldn't even say that. I would say more like Alex from A Clockwork Orange. And you saying gang, that's what it made me think of, because this is a guy.
See, and I'm thinking more Charles Manson.
See, and that's interesting. The only reason I say that was because Alex also ran with a gang of people that just loved causing mischief and destruction, which would be perfect for LU. But he also was a classy and dignified guy. And one of the most infamous scenes in the movie, he rapes a woman while singing in the rain. Like, to me, that's fucking the Jimmy Havoc that I would want in Lucha Underground. Like, yeah, it's this guy that still has the hardcore element. He's Jimmy fucking Havoc, but it's repressed. And he's just this very polished, very elegant, intelligent guy with just a seedy underbelly just dying to come out. And yeah, no, I definitely think Alex from Clockwork Orange is a greater parallel to what I'm looking for than Hannibal Lecter, because it has the class and the dignity. And then you saying like, yeah, like I love that idea. And then just the idea with the paper clips, I love that too. So yeah, it really, God, not only is it a shame that LU is probably not going to have any future seasons, but Havoc really went with AEW. Fuck. So many missed opportunities. Now I'm in the depression stage. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's the first stage. That's the
yeah.
So
God damn it, man. Shit.
Yeah.
Next.
It's always the old DABDA formula. It's depression, anger, bargaining, denial, acceptance.
I feel like I've been oscillating between the depression and the denial, though, because I'm like, nah, they're gonna pull through. Then you see Joseph's tweet. I think it's pretty much dead at this point. Nah, he's just being hyperbolic. He's trying to get leverage. No. And then you just kind of cry alone. It's sad. But next question.
I'm still trying to think of a good name for Jimmy, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I said Jimmy Grayson. and then you want to come
I
up.
love that. Like the Grayson as a last name would be great. Like I don't know if James Grayson would really work. That doesn't really. I mean, it kind of sounds serial killery, but not really. I almost want to like work in like a name with like a letter V in it, like not Voldemort, but like something along those lines, like a Voldemort or like V for Vendetta, like something with a V in it that would really like strike the ear with fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me see. Well, let's see what we can find for you, friend. Let's do this.
And it would be a surname.
Let's see.
Hmm.
I'm seeing Vasek, Vacek.
No. I'm looking myself, so I'll probably be able to find something.
Yeah, wow. God, I ever want another pseudonym. I know the website to go to. This has like every surname for V and probably every other letter of the alphabet. Yeah, it does. Holy shit.
James Vickers. I like that.
Ooh, there you go.
That's what I would want his name. Yeah, there we go. James.
That name is fresh out of the ward, partner. I love that.
Right? That's like that really does sound like holy shit. What's this guy in for?
That sounds like a guy when you ask them what are you in for? They just deadpan tell you strangled some birds once, and it's just like, okay, I'm backpedaling. That's perfect.
And then they just start laughing while you back away, almost as if to be like, oh, there's nowhere you can go, even though like the door's right there. You could totally walk away anytime you want, but then you just kind of feel yourself not going for the handle, and for some reason you kind of start to feel a little more comfortable around this person.
Yeah. Oh man.
Ooh,
Indeed. Yeah. Next question.
All right. Abel's great. Father of Havoc. Oh, a little bit too much of an age difference there, bud, but I appreciate the attempt. All right. Third and final question from Golden Elite. With Eric Bugenhagen becoming a megastar in his debut. I mean, come on now, a megastar. I love him, but geez. Do you guys agree with me that NXT should start promoting and pushing more homegrown guys? And I'm quoting Golden Elite here because I don't agree with this, but pushing more homegrown guys and stop giving all the glory to every B- indie guy they sign.
I've been advocating my favorability towards them, centering more of the stuff on homegrown talent for a while on the podcast. Like, I think my track record speaks for itself. So 100% yes. Again, I don't co-sign with the indie kind of stigma either that they kind of put at the end there, but you never really go wrong with centering homegrown talent because, that's your fucking product that you can tout to everybody else. And it's the future of your business. So absolutely. Yeah, to me, it's never a bad thing. So long as they have the talent to back it up. Some do, some don't, but the ones that do, you got to be mindful of. What about you, Ashton?
Yeah, I was like really kind of taken aback by the like B- indie thing. It's just like, really, dude, like we know that you're kind of like fucking elitist about your opinions on indie guys not being as good as everyone else thinks they are, but like you have to sneak it into every Q&A. Like, come on. But like if you consider somebody to be a B- indie guy, maybe not everybody sees that. Maybe other people think they're B+ or A- or even A+ indie guys, and you just have an opinion that not everybody agrees with. It's not, it's not that big of a deal. Like if you would consider like Keith Lee to be a B- indie guy, I would have to disagree with you strongly. If you consider Dijakovic a B- indie guy, I disagree with you strongly. But like if by B- indie guy, you're talking more along the lines of like fucking um Jonah Rock, like, yeah, I don't think that they should push him over a guy like Bugenhagen. But like, it's all subjective as far like to me. I don't really care if the guys are homegrown or indie. I just want them to push the most entertaining performers. Like that's all it really is to me. And it just so happens that a vast majority of the most entertaining performers come from the indies, because on the indies is where they have to learn how to work a crowd, where they have to learn how to work a match, or they have to learn how to do things the right way. Whereas if you come up through the developmental system, the WWE teaches you how to do things their way, which also generally kind of coincides with fucking boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
next question.
All right, next set of questions. We've got 3 from Iconic Player 1. First up, if Heyman ran Raw and Cornette SmackDown, which brand would be the best to watch? Definitely Raw.
I love Corny sometimes, mainly his like podcasting because I do enjoy Corny's rants. But yeah, Heyman's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like I've seen a Jim Cornette booked television show before, and it bored the fuck out of me. And it was, Ring of Honor in the early 2010s. As soon as really like the only thing that kept me watching that show was the Kings of Wrestling as tag team champions. And as soon as the quote unquote wrestling's greatest tag team, Haas and Benjamin, as soon as they came in and won the tag titles, I lost all interest. And this was, I'm fairly certain, all under Cornette's pencil. So I really like, and Cornette was also the one that was like trying to get all of his main event guys to be like MMA guys, like, fucking Davey Richards and shit like that. So like, yeah, no interest whatsoever in that.
Right. All right. Next question.
Next question from Iconic Player 1. I actually really liked this question when I first saw it. Edge or Chris Benoit? One comes back to wrestling while the other never was.
I'd say Edge. Yeah, I'd say Edge because
wait, which one? Edge what?
Well, Edge comes back to wrestling and Benoit never was.
Oh.
And that might surprise some people, but to me, if Benoit never was, that means his tragedy never was, which means two other lives weren't unnecessarily and kind of cruelly taken from them. So to me, I'm not looking at it purely from a wrestling state, but like outside circumstances. Now, true, with Edge coming back to wrestling, like his history remains intact, which means the whole thing with Lita and Matt, but cheating and all that stuff is significantly less worse than fucking murder-suicide. And plus Edge, I still would have liked him and Christian to have that big program that would have culminated at Mania, because I feel like those guys have talked about it before on the podcast. So yeah, for the sake of 2 innocent people, a lot of heartbroken fans, including myself and everything else, just take Benoit together, like out altogether, because you can't miss what you don't even remember, what you don't even know. And you bring Edge back to wrestling so we retain all those beautiful memories and he gets to finish his career the right way, presumably working the program with Christian and maybe putting a future star or 2 over. So I'm going to pick Edge.
So let me ask you a question, John.
Sure.
When you first started wrestling or watching wrestling, obviously you're not a wrestler. When you first started watching wrestling, if Benoit never was around, would you still have stuck through it?
Honestly, Ashton, I would think so. Like he was a huge part of it, no doubt. But also keep in mind that I was the same kid that at one point liked Road Dogg. So if Benoit wasn't there, I would have latched onto somebody, and I probably would have kept latching onto people until I found that perfect fit that Chris was early on. But I think it just would have been somebody else. Maybe it would have been Eddie. Maybe it just would have been Eddie, or maybe it would have been Kurt. I don't know, but. I'd like to think that all roads would have led to where they've led eventually, regardless if Benoit wasn't the initial catalyst. So I'm confident I would have stuck around.
Yeah. All right. I only ask that because, like, if Benoit never was, maybe you don't become a wrestling fan, and maybe you and I never meet, and I don't know.
That really fucks with the continuum, right? Goddamn.
Yeah,
but no,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's hard for me to say. Like, I wish, I wish his life would have ended more akin to how, like, Eddie's life ended, because then I easily would have said, like, oh yeah, fucking Chris, like, I love Edge, but bye. But there are so many extraneous circumstances that, like, you just can't not factor them in. And I just
and I was even thinking too, like, if the idea of one coming back to wrestling, that kind of implies that whatever it was that ended their career never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if Edge never fucks up his neck and he comes back, that's cool. But then on the other hand, if the thing that ended Benoit's career never happens, then the whole tragedy with him and Nancy and whatever never happens.
That is true. Yeah.
So, and if that never happened, then, like, I mean, if our goal is exclusively to prevent that tragedy, then I would want Benoit to come back, because if Benoit is able to come back, then that means that the tragedy that ended his career never happened, and that saves 3 lives.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so you accomplish the same goal that Never Was would have, except you do it in a way that also preserves because his career was winding down anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess by that logic, I could almost, with like any absence of guilt, say Benoit. Like by that logic. So yeah, by that logic, definitely Chris. If there were other circumstances at play that would kind of preclude that reasoning, then definitely Edge. Because I really am trying to be mindful of the other lives impacted here. So
Right.
yeah. Unless there's anything else you want to add to this question, we can move on.
Then I guess we can move on. Up next, third and final question from Iconic Player 1. How do you see Ciampa's first year on the main roster going?
Hopefully, well, I actually read today that he might be re-injured, and that's really, really.
I read that he was injured too.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, how is the main roster going to survive without Ciampa Daddy, whose theme song explicitly starts with "No one will survive"? It's
Man,
distressing.
That's the question of our lifetime, isn't it?
It is. It is. But putting that aside, if say he comes out of it okay, if say he has a very caustic tweet towards Dirt Sheets and says I'm fine, I could see his first year being successful. The funny thing is,
I mean, the thing is with Ciampa, what I read was that he is injured and might need surgery, but is not willing to get it until after TakeOver New York.
Yeah, I think he really wants to see his story through first.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him. I mean, that's a consummate professional. I mean, you always risk doing more damage. And I would want to tell Ciampa Daddy, please don't mutilate yourself. I love you no matter what you are. But obviously he doesn't care about that. But if he was healthy, here's the thing about if he was healthy and he was really able to see it through. If Seth Rollins becomes Universal Champion, because I see Ciampa for whatever reason being more of a Raw guy, and even if he is a SmackDown guy, I would say the same about, presumably Kofi, who I'm currently penciling in my head to win the title at Mania 35. Both those champions in their own way are beatable by a guy like Tommaso Ciampa. So if you get Brock Lesnar out of the picture, if he is on Raw, and you get a beatable champion there, and you've already got a beatable champion on SmackDown, you go from one beatable champion to another, I could honestly see Ciampa in his first main roster year becoming a world champion on either of those brands. Yeah. And I think him and Gargano feuding for the WWE title seems more realistic than them feuding for the Universal title. But yeah, I could easily see Ciampa becoming a main eventer in his first year and even holding the big title. I don't know, Ashton, do you think that's a bit of a stretch on my end? Or
no, I think that's perfectly possible. Yeah, I'm with you on that, actually. I think that's maybe not even just possible, but maybe even likely. Like it's the way that Vince kind of basically went out of his way to ask Triple H for NXT guys because he sees them as more stars than his main roster guys. Like, yeah, it makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I would definitely agree with you that he's got future WWE / Universal Champion written all over him. And I hope that we end up being right about that, because if they really just start to fucking treat him like another goddamn mechanic, I'm going to be fucking pissed, because it's fucking Ring of Honor all goddamn over again.
He worked so hard to avoid it, too. Damn it. Next question. We need some uplifting
injury prone, John.
Oh, that nasal effect you added there. God, I wanted to punch you in the face. Oh, that was perfect. Oh, my God. All right. We need some uplifting questions. Next question.
All right. We've got 5 from Mark Schoeneman, and then we've got our final 5 from Alex Foster. That's all we've got left. First up from Mark. Could we get a 6-man ladder match for the North American Championship at TakeOver New York, and maybe even get that match, that like 6-man ladder match as a concept, becoming a staple of the WrestleMania weekend takeovers going forward?
I think it's possible. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
yeah, I was gonna say possible, yes, likely no.
Yeah, it's not at all outside the realm of possibility. Like, it's not some fantastical fantasy booking. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. I don't even think we're gonna get it this year, much less going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So, next question from Mark.
Next from Mark, our second question. Are the Iconics now what Carmella was when she was champion? And to clarify, because he has kind of explained this to me a little bit, what he basically means is, are people shitting on the Iconics and thinking that the Iconics are not actually good at what they do now because they're heels and they're working those heel characters to such a degree that it's literally working people into believing that they're just bad at what they do.
I think so. I mean, I'm seeing the Boston Hug stands going hard at Iconics, and they're just rolling with it, and they're just, to me, being great heels. You know, you can't blame them for that. I absolutely think that's what's going on here personally. Do you have a different view, Ashton?
No, I definitely feel that way as well, for sure. Like and it's the funny thing too is like it seems like it's a similar or maybe even the same group of people doing it that did it with Carmella. It's like they haven't learned their fucking lesson. It's like, seriously, like I can understand getting worked and getting worked isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, like if you're going to get worked to the point that you're literally going to start fucking harassing someone on social media, that is a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment that that they're kind of in that same zone of, you know, they're heels and they work heel and they are intentionally annoying on the mic because they're trying to get heat. So people just kind of think they're bad at all of it. And it's objectively not true based on the body of work that we've seen on them. Going back to NXT and even before NXT. So.
All right, next question.
I was about to move on. Next question, our third question from Mark. Will the world, this was a fucking weird one. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Will the world explode if Luke Harper tells us what day it is and that we know what that means? And then Asuka responds by pointing at him and Vince McMahon's limo blows up.
I don't think the universe could handle that epicness. So absolutely, we are all categorically fucked. Like, yeah, it's over. So
why is what can you explain this to me, John? I feel like it's a joke that's just completely
well. Every day, Luke Harper has these tweets. I'm sure you know that half where he's like,
yes, I am aware that he does, like, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. But what relevance does it have to Asuka pointing?
Well, Asuka sometimes will reply to tweets with like her pointing and then the McMahon limousine explodes. It's kind of like a GIF or like meme thing that's really been circulating, especially among the fandom. And I'm seeing it a lot more lately. So it's kind of attaining that social media currency, if you will.
So this is literally a fucking social media meta joke that I just straight up don't get because wrestling Twitter is fucking cancer and I avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, exactly. See, there you go. Yeah, you get it.
Then I don't have an answer, so I'm going to move on. Up next, fourth question from Mark. Draft game. We get a draft game, guys.
All right, let's do it.
Of you right now because you're all going to need to participate in this. We've got a draft game from Mark. Here we go. I'm going to read his thing word for word, and then we're going to do it. Okay, so you did something like this before. Both of you draft one member of each of the tag team champions in this order: Raw, SmackDown Live, Women's, NXT, NXT UK, until you have a 5-person team. Then both pick one person from your team of 5 to start and have chat vote for one or the other. Most votes eliminates least votes. And then whomever's team had an elimination sends out another person until one team is fully eliminated. Whomever drafts first chooses their first entrant into the match second. And there's also a special rule that the 2 people who start the match cannot be tag team partners and cannot be Sasha or Bailey as well.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. When you verbalize questions like this, I'm just gonna look it up on the Discord so like that I can follow.
I'm reading it out loud, and yeah, like it's partially because I know that you'll want to know the rules, and I'm glad that you're looking on the Discord too because it's mostly for chat because this is a little more complicated and it's not as simple as just answer this question, please.
Yeah, okay, so how about this, Ashton? I'm going to follow your lead on this, so if you wouldn't mind, how about you go first, like, drafting your team, I guess?
I was gonna do random numbers.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up random.org. John, pick a number between 1 and 100. I am in another tab, so you type your number into the chat, and when you finish typing it and sending it into the chat, I will say my number out loud, and then I'll click generate to generate a random number between 1 and 100, and whoever gets closer gets to pick first.
All right, I just sent my number into the chat.
Okay, the number that I'm going to choose. Now, tell me... No, don't. Never mind. Tell me if I pick the exact same number as you. Otherwise, don't worry about it. The number, though, that I'm going to pick is 42, the meaning of life, 42. So
no, I don't have the same number as you.
Okay, I'm gonna click generate, and the number is 65. So what number did you pick?
I picked 40.
Higher than yours. I'm closer. I get to pick first.
Damn.
And you were planning on us doing anyway, but this way it's nice and fair. All right. So the champions, I think, did he someone posted a picture of all the champions right now. So Raw, you know what? Fuck it. First pick, Sasha Banks.
Okay, then I'll just get Bailey.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to pick the partner of the person that I pick if you don't want to.
Oh, right, because I guess tag team champions, it's more of an open field. I'll still pick Bailey.
Although, I mean, you know what? I guess the way that the rules work out, we don't even necessarily like we could have a full tag team on it. Like if I wanted, I could pick Sasha and then you could pick like Scott Dawson and I could pick Bailey on the next turn if I wanted to. Because you know thing about how like we have to not have more than one member of any given team on our team.
Right. Okay. Okay. Oh, jeez. All right. So you pick Sasha. I guess I'll pick fucking Scott Dawson.
Wait, you're actually picking Scott Dawson?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Scott Dawson. Yeah, that's
okay. Then I will pick Hanson.
Okay. Shit. I'll pick Zach Gibson.
Damn. He was legitimately going to be my next pick. Okay. Let's see here. So you got Gibson. You have Gibson and Dawson. I guess I'll take Bailey. I've got Sasha Banks and Hanson and Bailey now.
Wait. Mark is correcting us. He said no. It's Raw's men's first because I think even in the Discord, I'm looking at it now. He has Raw separated from women's tag champions. So he says,
we actually have to pick in that order, and like we basically don't actually get full autonomy over our teams because like if one of us picks, you know, like for Raw, if I would say I want Dash Wilder, that forces you to take Scott Dawson then, and then
right, okay, so
and then like the next round you would pick first, like that's the order that we're going in, I guess.
Okay, so with that in mind, since you still won the number game. Now that we know, because the order is
I will take Dash Wilder though, so you can have Scott Dawson, but then you need to make your first pick is it has to be your second round pick, I guess, then has to be a member of the SmackDown champions, which is the Usos.
I'll take which one squared up with the cop? Was it Jimmy Uso? I'll take Jimmy Uso.
Well, that leaves me with Jay, and then for the women's, I'll take Sasha, which leaves you with Bailey. So who's your pick for the NXT Tag Team Champions?
NXT chat. Oh yeah. I'll take Hanson. I'll take Hanson.
Okay, then that leaves me with Rowe, and then NXT UK means I get Zach Gibson, motherfucker, and you get.
Oh God. All right, fine.
What's the other guy's name? Even I don't even remember.
James Drake.
That guy. That right? Yeah, you get him.
Oh Christ. All right. So then both pick one person from your team to start and have chat vote for one or the other. Most votes eliminate least votes, and then the team has had an elimination, send out another person until one team is fully eliminated. So, like last time, Jesus.
There's no particular order for this part, but there are two rules about the actual battle. The first rule is we can't start with the women's tag team champions, and the second part is whoever. You know, you get to pick who you're starting with first, and I can't pick whoever the tag team partner is of whoever you pick.
Okay. Oh my God, my head hurts. All right, so
yeah, Mark. Just so you know, we started this goddamn thing with 13 viewers, and we're down to 7. Thanks.
Yeah, boner killer. So how do we? Okay, so who are you gonna send out first then?
You get to pick that first because I drafted first.
Okay, so I guess I'll send out Bailey first.
You can't choose Sasha or Bailey first.
Oh God damn it. Okay, I'll choose fucking get fucking James Drake out of here. Fucking send Drake out. Send Drake out.
Okay. You start with James Drake. I'm gonna start with Rowe. So now everyone in chat, all 8 of you, get to choose who wins between James Drake and Roe from the War Raiders. So yeah, we're gonna have to just kind of wait for everyone in chat to vote. We've got 9 people. Foster, we can't choose Sasha and Bailey because it's just an arbitrary rule that Mark made for the game. He specifically said on the one line, special rule is the 2 people who start the match can't be tag partners and can't be Sasha and Bailey. So that's, so pick people between James Drake and Roe from War Raiders. Pick one of them. Roe is the bald one, and James Drake is the one with the long hair in the Grizzled Young Vets, if you didn't know.
You should all surprise Ashton and vote for James Drake.
Abel picks double elimination. Mark picks Roe. And you're picking who survives, by the way, not who gets eliminated. You're picking who survives. Okay, Foster picked Roe. We only have 7 people now, so we only need 4 votes to pass. Let's see. All right, so we've got 2 votes for Roe. Oh my god, sounding like a squeaky door over here. Abel went with Roe. Are you ready to concede, or do you want to hold?
Yeah, I'm ready to concede just to save our remaining viewership.
Okay. All right. So sending out now to face Roe.
Now I can send Bailey out, right? Because we can't start with Sasha or Bailey, and now we're in the second round, so I'm gonna send Bailey out.
Okay, all right. So now we've got Bailey versus Roe. All right, here we go. Bailey versus Roe. Everybody in chat needs to vote. We've got 7 live viewers. We need either 4 or I just am gonna need to, or one of us, whoever's losing at the time, needs to be able to just concede. Bailey versus Roe from War Raiders. Mark chooses Bailey. Okay. Foster chooses Roe. Okay. Are we getting any more votes? Oh god, John, it's tied. What do we do?
I'll even switch my vote to Roe just to keep this moving. Yeah, Abel said Bailey.
Okay, so it's 2-1 now. These are the only 3 people who voted in the last one. I'm starting to wonder if these are the only 3 people in chat that are actually active right now.
Oh my god.
We're gonna do a kind of a long-term thing here where I'm gonna say going once, and if nobody votes, I'm gonna say going twice, and if nobody votes, I'm gonna say sold, and whoever has the most votes at the time is gonna win. Okay. All right. So if nobody's voting, it's Bailey versus Roe from War Raiders. We're up to 9 live viewers. You're voting for who wins the matchup between Bailey and Roe from War Raiders. Going once, going twice, and Bailey picks up the win. And now I am gonna choose to throw out Zach Gibson as my next option. So we got Zach Gibson versus Bailey. Go ahead and make your votes, everybody. Zach Gibson versus Bailey. Go ahead and make your votes. Vote, make your picks. Who's going to win between Zach Gibson and Bailey? Come on, everybody. Nobody's actually done it yet because there's like a 30-second delay between us and the chat, but I'm going to keep being enthusiastic because I believe in us. Everyone.
I believe in you. Come on, people, vote. Vote so we can progress through this question. Yes. Keep voting. That's
okay.
2 for Bailey, 1 for Gibson.
Yeah, you know what? I just based on the pace that this is going right now, I'm based on the pace, we're just gonna move on. Bailey wins, and my next choice is Jey Uso. Go ahead and make your votes, everybody. Everybody vote between Jey Uso and Bailey. Go on ahead. I believe in you guys. Make a decision hastily here.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it.
All right. Foster chose Jey Uso.
Foster is just going against Bailey at every turn, and I'm here for it. And Abel keeps showing up for Bailey.
Oh, but Mark and Foster both chose Jey Uso now, so Bailey's finally been eliminated. Fucking Abel over here keeping her alive.
Oh, you mean that fucking and Foster going after Abel, but he kept going after Bailey at every turn. But now I have to pick somebody.
Yeah.
So
well, I guess John, I believe in you.
Oh, I guess I'll go with With fucking Hanson. I'll go with Hanson. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we were down to Jey Uso versus Hanson. Jey Uso versus Hanson. And that's the battle right now. It's Jey Uso and Hanson from the War Raiders.
Cast that vote. Cast that vote. Come on now. Cast that vote. Yeah.
Yeah.
That vote. And we got one for Hanson there.
Is that it? Is everyone done? Is everyone done voting? Okay. Oh, Hanson in a sweep. Okay. So let's see. God, I legitimately forget who's even left on my team. I started with Rowe, right? Yeah, I started with Rowe, and then I sent out Zach Gibson, and then I sent out Jey Uso. So I'm sending out Dash Wilder next. Dash Wilder versus Hanson. Here we go.
All right.
Dash Wilder versus Hanson. Make your votes, everybody. I believe in all of your faces.
Yeah. Let our powers combine to form votes being cast in the chat. Wow, Hanson really did sweep. I'm surprised. I knew he was like a really, yeah. I know he's like,
okay. Hanson wins again, which means that my ace in the hole is on her way out. Here comes Sasha Banks, baby. Sasha Banks versus Hanson. Make your votes, everybody.
Everybody swerve Ashton and go Hanson. Abel, Hanson for the win.
Hanson versus Sasha, baby. Here we go. Let's do this.
Oh, Abel said Sasha. All right. Oh, man.
Okay, that's Sasha. For Sasha, which means Sasha wins because we're only getting 3 votes in these. So moving on, John, who are you sending out next?
Jimmy Uso. If he can square up with a Cobb, Sasha Banks should be no problem.
All right. Everybody make your votes. Sasha Banks versus Jey Uso. Or Jimmy Uso, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Uso, yep.
Yeah. Sasha Banks versus Jimmy Uso. Here we go. As another vote for Sasha from Mark. Alex Foster said Uso, he fights cops.
Yes.
And we're waiting for Abel. There's Abel. Oh, Sasha taps out that criminal. There you go. All right. Do you have anyone left, dude, or was that it?
No, I should still have people left because let's see.
I think you have Scott Dawson left, right?
Yeah, I do. So my ace in the hole, Scott Dawson, and say yeah.
Oh shit! I'm really fucking now. All right. Versus Sasha Banks. Make your votes.
Let's do it.
Would you rather say yeah or do it with a boss style? Fuck, I fucked that up.
And Sasha wins.
Wow. Okay. I'll take it. I knew she was going to be the most important pick.
Yeah, as soon as you picked her, I'm like, why are we doing this question?
Oh, and when we were doing like the draft before we started actually playing by the rules, that's why she was the first overall pick, man, because I knew she was going to be like.
Well, if you didn't pick her, I was going to, so it really did come down to that number game. And as soon as you won, I'm like, it's over. Yeah. I just knew, like, it's over.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, guys. Well, that's all taken care of. And we've got our 5th and final question from Mark. Does Vince? Oh, I'm gonna actually read this one on the Discord too. AJ Styles punches Vince in the face and gets an opportunity to win a title shot and wins it. Kevin Owens headbutts Vince. Vince rewards him with a title shot much later. Becky instead attacks Stephanie and a McMahon adjacent in Triple H, and Vince suspends her and replaces her with Charlotte. Can we presume, based on this evidence, that Vince McMahon gets off on people beating him up and perhaps got jealous that Becky beat up his family and not him, and that's why he suspended her, and maybe behind the scenes, Charlotte also beat him up at one point?
I mean, given that chain of logic, that seems entirely plausible to me. So... Right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like if this was Mythbusters, you would be seeing a big-ass plausible stamp over your TV screen right now.
Oh, shit. Well, there you go, Mark. Goddamn.
Yeah. All right. So up next, We've got 5 questions from Alex Foster, who is also still in chat. First question is just for me. If you were to join your favorite New Japan faction, would you put in a good word for John? Only if I knew he wanted in.
Oh, you're so good to me. Because I also know that Foster out of that question, you can say no, please. God, Foster, I try and show you love, man. One of these days, we're gonna like bury the hatchet. However, this feud even fucking started. I feel like Peter and the Giant Chicken. Like, wait, what are we even fighting about? But no, one day we'll settle it. But until then, got my eye on you, bruh. But next question from Foster.
Second question from Foster. What are your favorite fourth wall jokes?
I only have. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not overly familiar with fourth wall jokes, so I'll be honest. Like, I refer because I knew like 2 shows that have done them, and I did some research. Very early on in Family Guy's run, when it was still good and still entertaining to watch, one of my favorite fourth wall jokes from that show was, I forget the title of the episode. It was the one where people started finally becoming concerned about Quagmire being a sexual deviant, and everybody's all gathered outside, you know, all the women on one side and Quagmire's boys, you know, Peter, Cleveland, Joe, all them on the other. And Bonnie comes up and she's like, yeah, I don't want to have a baby with that pervert running around. And then Peter's like, okay, first of all, Bonnie, you've been pregnant for like 6 years. Either have the baby or don't. And I just remember the first time I saw that joke, like I died just by Peter's like delivery of that line, being like, look, you've been fucking preggers forever. This isn't normal. You know, give birth, don't. We don't care. So that's got to be one of my favorite fourth wall jokes that I've heard, which is, again, very limited, but that one definitely stands out. What about you, Ashton? Are there any fourth wall jokes in particular that you like?
Yeah, like the one in particular that I just immediately comes to mind is from Moana, where during the song Shiny, Tamatoa literally looks at the camera and says, look it up at one point. It was like, he had a line in there about you can't expect a demigod to beat a decapod. And then he literally looks at the camera and says, look it up. And then like in the post-credit scene, we see him laying on his shell and he like can't get up. And he's like, oh, everyone thinks that I'm such a terrible thing because I'm so big and I'm kind of scary looking. But I bet that if I was a cute little red thing and then my name was Sebastian, you would all love me. So like, yeah, he broke the fourth wall multiple times in like straight up Disney movies. So that was kind of weird. And then, you know, fucking Rick and Morty is constantly breaking the fourth wall, like pretty much like multiple times a season. And then sometimes it seems like in every episode he does it.
Right.
So those are my 2 answers right there.
All right. Next question.
All right. Next question is also obviously from Foster because it's the last 5 questions of the Q&A. Third question from Foster. Would Frieza work as a god of destruction?
I'd actually buy it with how he was written and portrayed in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah. I'd be cool with him being a god of destruction, actually. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was even about to say, I feel like, isn't there like a rumor that the next Dragon Ball Super movie would be like Frieza getting the powers of a god of destruction and trying to use them on Goku and shit?
I think so. I think I heard some rumors, so yeah.
I thought that was like an actual rumor that was going to probably happen.
Yeah, and I'd be excited as fuck if that is the case.
Yeah, right? Like all in, please. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Especially if it's like the same kind of writing team and animation team and everything that did the new Broly movie. Like, fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was so good.
Absolutely, man. So that was Foster's last question, you said, right? So
no, that was his third question. That was his
third question. Okay.
2 more. Fourth question from Foster. If you had to have an artist / band write a song about you, who would you pick? Oh God, this makes me uncomfortable.
Write a song about me. I'd almost want it to be like a comical artist. Because if I'm gonna be like tributed in music, I'd rather it be like being lampooned kind of thing.
Really?
And yeah.
But what if it goes on to be a hit single and like the most well-known that you'll ever be is these guys in a band making fun of you? Like,
I have no pride, bro.
I'm just too fucking insecure for that, honestly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one. I wonder if he still works. I'm gonna do some quick Googling, Ashton, if you want to answer, because there's a guy I want to look up.
Okay. Well, I really don't have a good answer, but just because I like their style and I feel like they could sing a fucking phone book and it would sound good, I would just say Tara Jr. because Like they, the thing is like they don't need to have amazing subject material because of how great I think their sound is, and yet most of their songs still do have great subject material. So it's just like they're just awesome. I just love Terror Jr. So I would pick them.
I'm looking up one guy to see if he's still active for the lampooning part, but I guess because again, like it would just be weird for somebody to do like an uplifting thing on me. I don't know. I just kind of creeped out by that prospect for whatever reason. So I would love to be like a victim of like a rap, like if like say an Eminem or whatever, or Future, who's another guy that I like in that scene. Like if they were to do like going hard at me kind of thing, that would be cool. And I'm just seeing if this guy still works or not. Apparently, he hasn't done anything since 2012 because there was this one comedic musician named Stephen Lynch. And I remember as a kid, I used to hear some of his songs, and I really liked those. And I thought maybe he could do a cool thing with my name. I'm trying to think of like other comedic singing acts. What else is out there? What else is out there? I guess you know what? Rather than hemming and hawing and trying to think, I'll just go with an Eminem diss track. That's how you fucking made it. Like, oh shit. Hell, Machine Gun Kelly was jonesing hard for it, and he finally got it. We haven't heard a word out of him since, so no better way to get buried than by the king, I guess. Next question.
Fifth and final question from Foster. What should the Shield do in the games and anime of Pokemon Shield?
Defend, like a shield is supposed to function. I'm sorry, I have no idea about like the Pokemon shields or whatever, so that's the best answer I could come up with.
No,
Again,
that was a fucking brilliant answer, and quite frankly, I feel even more insecure now knowing that I didn't come up with it. God damn it.
Honestly, Ashton, like knowing that your face thinks that I'm fucking brilliant, why don't we just tell this question to fuck off and just mutually admire each other for like the next 5 minutes? That just sounds amazing.
That sounds incredibly uncomfortable to me.
Damn. I shot my shot. What can I say? But seriously, though, do you have any answer for this?
No, I was thinking about this when I first saw it, and literally like I got to it like at 6:57, 6:58, so I really didn't have much time to think about it. But I wonder if Pokemon is going to go in more of like an RPG. Like I know it's already technically an RPG, but like more like traditional like JRPG style, and they'll start having like you can literally like equip like a tool or like a weapon or something onto your Pokemon because it's called Sword and Shield. And like we already have held items. That's kind of different than like an actual piece of equipment that would like change your stats and stuff,
Right, yeah.
Like it would basically be like a second held item, but rather than like berries and like braces and shit like that, it would be either like a weapon or a piece of armor, like more literal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be that's my best guess. I doubt they would do that because they really do kind of try and stick with like the more child friendly stuff. But I don't know. It's possible, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. So I guess that does it for a Q&A for the month of February, right?
That's everything. Unfortunately, I was kind of feeling like we were getting into a groove there, but yeah, man, that's the 46 questions that we got for the month.
All right, well, guys, you freaking killed it. We did get a $2 super chat from Abel. Can you do a rant on Ronda Rousey? You know what? I'll actually do you something, Abel, since we don't do questions via super chat, but I will give you.
We do though. We do. We've done it before. We've accepted questions during super chat live. We have done that before.
Oh yeah, isn't that our exception? Like if you want to get in late, I guess
we don't accept questions live unless it's via super chat. So Abel got it in there.
Really, I'll just give you the same rant that I had on Twitter if you guys haven't seen it yet. I said, I'll be honest with you guys, the only reason I still want Becky versus Ronda to main event WrestleMania 35 is because of Becky. Because she has worked her fucking ass off for this and eaten the shit of bad booking for years and fought her way out. The fact that someone is disrespectful, obtuse, arrogant, vile, and just an all-around putrid human being as Ronda Rousey gets to main event WrestleMania when so many talented men and women who actually love this industry are either denied that spot or don't even make the card makes me ill. And to follow up on that, I tweeted something else, which I really, really want to read this. Oh, yeah, because somebody mentioned how, Ronda Rousey, she's sold out UFC pay-per-views. And so clearly she could do the same for WWE, and she just believes her own hype. And so I kind of mockingly said, I sold out UFC pay-per-views, so clearly I can do the same for WWE, right? To which I said, wrong, you fucking trash ass, worthless ass, no talent ass, conspiracy touting, LGBTQ denouncing, all around putrid, making yourself look stupid pile of fucking garbage. Ronda Rousey is a waste of life. She should have very clearly been swallowed. And every day that that doesn't happen, because it can't happen, because unfortunately we don't have time travel and can't correct the past, is fucking utter agony. So it was a $2 donation. I feel like that was at very least a $2 rant. There you go, Abel. I fucking love your face, you beautiful human being. So does that take care of everything? We good?
I think so.
All right. All right.
Thanks a lot, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. All right. You're welcome.
All right. All right.
Yeah. He's a treasure. You know what? I don't watch enough of McConaughey as far as I'm concerned. He's good people. He's good people. So, all right. I guess before handing the ball to you, I should let everybody know when the next Q&A is and all that fucking jazz, right? So,
I mean, it's just going to be on the 28th again, isn't it? Considering it's like February and.
Oh my goodness, you're so right. Wait, how long does that go on for? Okay, that's only for March, and then April fixes the timeline. Okay, fair enough. So yeah. March 28th. Oh, wow, that's a mind fuck. Is going to be the next Q&A. What number is that?
33.
Oh, look at you guys. So Q&A number 33, that will become the pinned tweet as soon as this video stops from live and is processed. Again, non-Patreon donors get only 3 Q&A questions. Patreon donors get 5 Q&A questions. And now I really should emphasize, if you want questions late, like late editions, as long as you're not already maxed out, you can pull an Abel and do a super chat. We greatly appreciate it. Best mediums, of course, my pinned tweet, Twitter, obviously. YouTube, when this video is done processing, I know a lot of people just go to the prior Q&A to post some questions. You can do that too. That actually makes it really easy to find. Facebook, that's Foster's preferred method. And Discord, again, that's specifically for Patreon donors. Minimum donation of $3 to get into the TWitWoW Discord. So please do consider donating. We'd greatly appreciate it. And we will see you all March 28th for the next Q&A. And again, I already explained, like, question count and stuff like that. So until then, we will see you again, I guess, Tuesday, Ashton, for SmackDown Live reactions.
No, well, we don't know, actually. We don't know when, we don't know when or what we're going to be covering in March, because it's we're going to put it up to a vote for the.
That's right. Yeah, because it's the last day of February. Dude, honestly, I got in such a rhythm doing SmackDown with you. I just assumed. So I'm glad you corrected that. So yeah, guys. March,
I mean, if I had to guess, I would say it's most likely going to continue to be SmackDown because of how much of a role it is on and the fact that it's, WrestleMania season. So I'm guessing that the votes are going to come in for SmackDown. And I know for a fact that Mark is going to vote SmackDown #1 because that's the only show that he can show up to live. So if I had to guess, I would say most likely, yes, we are going to be continuing to cover SmackDown.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. But we won't know definitively until you guys make your voice heard. So until you do, I'm just going to hand it over to my cohort and commentary here to take us home. So Ashton, it's all you, brother.
Hell yeah. I will continue to cohort your commentary ways, my good sir.
Hooray.
You're just going to say hooray and then your mic can just be done.
I mean, well, my mic isn't muted. I was just waiting for you to start the outro. God damn it! I was just happy they were going to continue to cohort, but now you're having expectations. The hell is this? Catching me off guard.
I have expectations. What do you expect of me?
I just expected you to just embrace the role and go with it. I didn't expect it to be this, and now I'm just befuddled. Okay, and I don't know what to do.
You're gonna be okay, bud. You're gonna be okay. I believe
in you. Spiraling.
You know what? I believe in you, and I believe in your face too. So how about that?
That belief doesn't mean anything when I'm spiraling out of control. Okay, no.
I disagree. I think belief means everything when someone's spiraling out of control.
Of course you would. No, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Deep breathing.
Oh my god. You okay?
Everything begins and ends with me. Okay, I'm centered now.
Okay. I was even about to ask you, are you meditating right now? And you kind of totally were, weren't you?
I mean, to be fair, and I'm not even shitting about this, and I'm comfortable with you guys to let you in on this. My last therapy session, my therapist has kind of been pushing meditation on me lately, and she gave me this mantra that I meditate for self, a loved one, someone I'm neutral about, someone that's difficult, and humankind. You can imagine that scumbag already hates meditating, and the mantra is, I wish each category of person and self well, happy, safe, peaceful, and loved. So, given that you guys, I love all of you guys, including my cohort here, I wish you well, I wish you happy, I wish you safe, I wish you peaceful, and I wish you loved until we meet again. So I will give it over now to Ashton, and now you can do the proper outro, sir, if you would be so kind.
Oh, so you just expect me to stop trying to make
Yes! I'm sorry, that was really aggressive. After
wow!
I will be the first one to admit we were all at a 4, and then I brought it up to an 11. I'm sorry, but I think you could take at least a smidge of the responsibility. You knew what you were doing. So let's commit to the outro.
That was amazing.
Oh, great. Now, you sound like you're actually laughing so hard you have tears, so that's going to take a minute.
I do. My eyes are watering. Oh, God. Okay.
Not watering the garden of my tranquility, apparently.
Oh man! All right, guys. We hope that you all enjoyed the show. I know I sure as hell did, and we'll see you all most likely on Tuesday. Otherwise, I'll make sure to update everybody with a schedule between now and Tuesday. Until then, though, we do hope that you remember, of course, and of course, go down to the description, do all that stuff. But please just remember, of course, to stay tuned.